Hey, hey, hey. Come on in, come on in. So it looked like Kanye West showed up in court today. He did the okey doke for his Diddy Witty. Come on in, come on in. Kanye West showed up in court today. Yes, he did. Kanye West. Woo, they trying hard, ain't they?
Kanye, why are you here? Kanye, why are you here?
Kanye showed up in court today.
Kanye, why are you here? Kanye, why are you here?
Yeezer in the house for Diddy.
Kanye, why are you here?
You hear that about somebody about tell him she was a freak.
Kanye, why are you here?
Can y'all believe this? Tell him she was a freak. Tell him she was a freak. As if that is going to erase the fact that they was doing some illegal stuff. Kanye in the house. Security. Security.
Kanye, why are you here? Kanye, why are you here?
Okay, so Kanye was there, and I think he has since left the building.
Kanye, why are you?
Kanye. Ooh, I know Diddy was happy. Ooh, they pulling stunts. They pulling stunts. Stunts. Y'all come on in. Let's get the update going. Kanye. Yesterday, Secret Service threw that ass out. Threw that ass out. That tell him she was a freak part.
Kanye, why are you here?
That part keep blowing my mind. Tell him she was a freak. Tell him she was a freak. She's a freak in the house. She mighty, turning all y'all out. She's a freak. Let's see what this one is.
No, that's why Tiffany was up there and I'm back here.
They have to come over here.
Yeah, they do got to go that way. Y'all come in, hitting the like button. We're about to get started.
Okay, but let's laugh. Y'all did not believe us. Now y'all all get y'all came was ready over there on that time. Y'all didn't believe us.
I think he's gone now because they just had a break. I'm going to tune in. Who coming up here?
Mr. Donaldson, why did you come outside?
This is what all that movement was about.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, they say he was sitting with King. There you go.
Hey, where's Bianca?
Kanye West! Kanye, do you think the Illuminati is behind this attack on Diddy?
There you, baby. What?
It's special.
They trying hard, ain't they? They trying hard to get that support in the house. Getting that support in the house. Diddy was crying. Where they at? Where they at?
They have to come over here.
Where they at? Where they at? Where my support? Where all the people who was enjoying all of what I was doing? I taught them all. I was the ringleader. I showed them how to turn these O's out. Turn the O's out.
Wait, but let's laugh. Y'all did not believe us. Now y'all all get y'all came was ready.
Baby.
Y'all didn't believe us.
He came up in there to show support for Diddy. King, they say he sat in there with King Combs. Did I call him King Combs? Combs, yeah. Like,
Mr. Donaldson, why did you come outside?
they coming for Yay. Yay, yo.
Hey, what's up, Christian? How you doing? What's up, buddy?
Yay, where's Bianca?
Kanye West! Kanye, do you think the Illuminati is behind?
Do you think the Illuminatis are behind what's going on with Diddy? Did he look at him like, are you crazy? Did he look at him like foolishness? Yay. Y'all hit the like button. Hit the like button. Where the freaky little wife at?
Diddy!
Ooh, he not smiling. They said Secret Service rejected their butt yesterday. Maybe because that girl had a... Well, let me hush. There you go. Has his fingers been burnt? Why they black? And his thumb ain't. What's up with the black fingers? See, this is what happens when you be sticking your fingers in people's... Oh, get away from my nose. Get them fingers. Ah! It's by my mouth. Ooh. This is what happens when you stick your fingers in people's rear end. Your fingers start turning brown. What is that? Cause his thumb ain't like that. Is them tattoos on his fingers? Lord. AunTeaFee. AunTeaFee. He like, dang, man, thank you. My dad sure need to see you. He showed he was losing it, man. Yay, thank you. Thank you. Man, we sure appreciate it. You just don't know. It ain't looking good. It ain't looking good at all. House fights. Hi, Gregor. It ain't looking good at all. This shit is ooh wee man. Ooh wee man. Ooh wee man. Ooh wee man. Oh, was something wrong with that thumb too, ain't it? Ooh yeah. Oh. Ooh wee. There we have it. There we have it. He is in the house. He in the house. Courthouse. So he was. Let's go. Daddy needs to see you. Pops need to see you. Real bad. Let's go. He ain't got no butt, do he? Okay, yeah, what y'all think? It's getting crucial, ain't it? Ooh, wee. Ooh, hold on, let's hear this. Let's hear this. Don't he got some abuse stuff going on? Hi, Velma. Hi, cool guy. Yeah, she got rejected yesterday. What else? Hold on before I get to. Hold on. Let's see if there's any more. Juice. So hold on, cause oh girl. I got that. This was yesterday.
Guys, hot exclusive right here for
this
you.
Was yesterday.
Kanye West was in the building this morning. That is the reason for the freak out, why they had to go into the room, the robe room.
Hi, Deborah.
Because Kanye showed up here this morning with Bianca Sensory.
This was yesterday.
I don't know. I know they arrived at Newark Airport last night at 9:30 p.m. This is intense. Kanye was here.
I told y'all yesterday.
Big meeting. Because
Secret Service rejected him.
The government was like, he cannot come up here. He will sway the jury to be on the yay side. I mean, I'm not down with
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you.
I'm a Jewish man, so all the stuff he's doing, there's no way I can ever get down with that. But wow, Kanye was here, and Kanye, this is probably the first club that he was kicked out of, a federal court building. Go figure.
Yeah. But I got him, didn't I? I got a good one, didn't I?
You know, just give him a little Yeezy. He thought he was gonna
Yeezy. Yeah. Okay. So hold on. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What footage? Which footage of him arriving? What Deborah talking about? You the only one with that T, him going in the court. Oh, okay. That's next time, put it on the super sticker, super chat. If you want me to remove me from the back, you need to send a super sticker. Support the platform. Tell him the truth, bro. She she was a freak.
Kanye, why are you here?
See, I had this. And then the one I just showed you, that came up after the fact. Tell him she was a freak. Thank you, cool guy.
Why are you here?
It said, Ye arrived at the courthouse when Sean Diddy comes. Trial to take is taking place, yeah. So the trial was in place.
Why are you here?
And he pulled up. Hold on, so let's get some more tea. Hold on. That part tell him she was a freak.
Kanye, why are you here?
Hold on. Okay, so let me pause this. Let's hear our girl. Let's hear our girl. Hit the like button, y'all. Can y'all hit the like button for AunTeaFee? Hi, Ronald. Hit the like button for AunTeaFee. It's 150 people in here, and the likes are nowhere near that. Come on, y'all. Double tap your screen. Hi, Yak. Let's go.
Talk really quick. Yo, my sources were right. Ye has entered the courtroom. He waved. He said hello to me. Ye is in the courtroom. Now, we are on break. He came in just before lunch break. Nobody knows. You guys have the exclusive. Kanye West is actually in the courtroom, okay? He has come to support Diddy. He is with King Combs right now.
We know this, don't we, T-Step first?
He said, what's up? Apparently, he knows. He said, what's up, okay? And he is in the courtroom to show an awesome show of support to Sean Diddy Combs. Okay, so what?
Like, share, and subscribe to this video.
The best person in the world. You really think this is how you're going to win over the jury? By bringing Ye, who literally is the epitome of debauchery right now, into the courtroom? Now, maybe, listen, maybe his goal is to act like he is starstruck. That could be it. We actually passed Kanye. He said hi, right? Wouldn't it be funny if he was tattle? Okay, fine.
Thank you, Deborah.
But, right? Listen. What do you mean they're saying Kanye just returned? I just saw Kanye in the courtroom and talked to him. Ain't no Kanye just returned. I'm telling you 100% for a fact. Now, let me tell you also what went down yesterday, now that I can spill the beans, because I didn't want to say anything about my sources, right? Yesterday, Kanye never came into the courthouse, but he was outside the courthouse. They thought they were going to make a big stand on when Jane Doe was testifying. For whatever reason, the judge wasn't really handling, and they said, you know what, let's just chill. However, today, they have decided that even though they can't testify, even though they can't say anything, Kanye will be the person that comes and is going to be sitting next to King Combs and Quincy,
$2 billionaires
in the courtroom, and he is going to show a whole thing. Diddy also just got him. Listen, yes, everyone, Kanye went into the courthouse. He said, what's up to me? We actually had a moment. Kanye is here. Okay?
Shout out to Tisa.
It's not an I heard, I saw, I talked. Kanye West is currently in the Southern District of New York. We are on lunch break. When he comes back up, right? When we go back up, he will be sitting in the things. He is not testifying. The prosecution is, because this is the prosecution's term. The prosecution is not calling witnesses. He is not testifying. He's going to be sitting in the pews as a show of support. Again, the fact that they are going to try to paint this as a lifestyle, maybe, but the prosecution's whole thing is this lifestyle is largely illegal. So what are you really doing? Do you see what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, right? If this lifestyle is largely illegal, then what are you doing? Last time I checked, it is still illegal to show prostitutes making love. Y'all think I am going to try to get an interview with him. Let's try since I talk. He might actually do an interview. I want to hear his views on, I wonder why he didn't wear his his black leather KKK uniform. How come he didn't wear that? You know, I know he said the white leather one. I know he said the black leather one actually fit a little better, but how come he didn't wear that to the court, right? Listen, he is actually there, okay? I just want to know. I would like to get an interview, you know? But again, you guys, I saw him. He said, what's up? We had a little bit of a moment. He is 100% in the courthouse. This is no maybe. This is not, yes, he is in the courthouse, okay? He is wearing a white, not KK, but a white, I don't know, a button-up white denim jacket and his black shades. Bianca was not spotted with him. I don't know how Bianca could dress appropriately for court, but if she did come, that would be a thing, right? He is going to be sitting in the third row on the exact side of the courtroom that I'm sitting in. So I'm sitting in the fourth row. He's going to be sitting in either the second or the third row. We will be on the same side. He saw me as I was going to security, so you know I'm going to do a little twirl and see if I can get on Ye's radar, even though never mind, because Ye be into some things, right? Listen, at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, yeah, literally saw he actually like waved. We had like our moment, said what's up, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I mean, listen, maybe I just reminded him of another fluffy hair girl he used to know. But again, he is 100% in the courtroom, and you know, I was trying to use everything I could to get in there, right? Somebody said, girl, be careful, he might recruit you. And take me away from YouTube. Y'all don't know me very well. Is he short? I will say, I think we're the same. I think we're the same. And I'm 5. Okay, fine, I'm 5'8". I want this guy 5'8". The heels, that's like what? 5'8" half of heels, that's like what? 6 foot? He is, I think without heels, we are the same. I think without heels, we are the same. I think with heels, he might be an inch too high. I think he's like 5'10", 5'11", right?
Where you going, man?
Anyway,
right here would be fine,
Alice
man.
World didn't send me.
Let's get it.
Oh my God, Alice, thank you so much for the super chat. All right, so listen, hold
No,
on.
I don't got no speed, man.
Hold on.
You know what I do got though, man?
1 second.
I got a joint, man.
A what?
All right. Come on.
One second.
Chinese eyes, man.
1 second. I'm just texting my sources.
What kind of
Saying
joint
thank you.
is this,
So
man?
I believe.
What in the world is playing in the back?
Looks like a
Because a lot of people
toothpick,
need to pay attention
No, it's
to
not
what
a
happened in
toothpick.
Teterboro
It is a
Airport.
toothpick,
But yesterday he
man.
did land in the New Jersey Teterboro Airport, okay? And it was expected that he thought that maybe the prosecution
Hold on, let's
was
back
actually
this
pushing
up.
that either he, again, the fact that they are going to try to paint this as a lifestyle, maybe, but the prosecution's whole thing is this lifestyle is largely illegal. So what are you really doing? Do you see what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, right?
I get what you're saying.
If this lifestyle is largely illegal, then what are you doing? Last time I checked, it is still illegal to show prostitutes making love. Y'all think I am going to try to get an interview with him. Let's try as I talk. He might actually do an interview. I want to hear his views on. I wonder why he didn't wear his black leather KKK uniform. How come he didn't wear that? You know, I know he said the white leather one. I know we said the black leather one actually fit a little better, but how come he didn't wear that to the court, right? Listen, he is actually there, okay? I just want to know. I would like to get an interview, you know? But again, you guys, I saw him. He said, what's up? We had a little bit of a moment. He's 100% in the courthouse. This is no baby. This is not, yes, he is in the courthouse, okay? He is wearing a white, not KK, but a white, I don't know, a button-up white denim jacket and his black shades. Bianca was not spotted with him. I don't know how Bianca could dress appropriately for court, but if she did come, that would be a thing, right? He is going to be sitting in the third row on the exact side of the courtroom that I'm sitting in. I'm sitting in the fourth row. He's going to be sitting in either the second or the third row. We will be on the same side. He saw me as I was going to security, so you know I'm going to do a little twirl and see if I can get on Ye's radar, even though never mind, because Ye be into some things, right? Listen, at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, yeah, literally saw he actually like waved. We had like our moment, said what's up, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I mean, listen, maybe I just reminded him of another fluffy hair girl he used to know. But again, he is 100% in the courtroom, and you know, I was trying to use everything I could to get in there, right? Somebody said, girl, be careful, he might recruit you. And take me away from YouTube. Y'all don't know me very well. Is he short? I will say I think we're the same height. I think we're the same height. And I'm 5... Okay, fine. I'm 5'8.5". I like to say I'm 5'9". I'm 5'8.5". And the heels, that's like what? 5'8.5" with heels, that's like what? 6 foot? He is, I think without heels, we're the same height. I think without heels, we are the same height. I think with heels, he might be an inch or two higher. I think he's like 5'10", 5'11", right? Anyway, Alice Moral Dennis said, love you, T. So you're on fire. Oh my God, Alice, thank you so much for the super chat. All right, so listen, hold on. Hold on. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. I'm just texting my sources saying thank you. So I believe, okay, maybe I wasn't the first report because a lot of people be paying attention to what happened in Teterboro Airport. But yesterday he did land in the New Jersey Teterboro Airport, okay? And it was expected that he thought that maybe the prosecution was actually pushing that either he or Bianca could testify. I don't think it was Bianca. I think they wanted him to testify. The defense, the prosecution, and the judge shut that down because you cannot get last-minute witnesses to peripheral things, right? Hold on. 1 second. One second. In any case, right? Kanye is in the building. So is it. 1 second.
Take your time.
Okay. All right. So in any case, you guys have the exclusive. So listen. Listen, I'm 5'8.5", but I claim 5'9". Okay, I claim it. I think if I stand up strict and straighten my posture, I will be 5'9". Okay, so listen, and y'all know afterwards I am gonna try to get Kanye to comment. He might actually comment. You know? Okay. Okay. So anyway, so what is going on now? Oh, do you know what was very interesting? Hold on, let me tell y'all what's going on in the courthouse. I think this is very, very interesting, okay? Now, during the cross-examination of the it wasn't fire ballistic, but there was a special agent, Ramon, right? He was there to talk about the nature of the search, blah, 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 blah. Now, before that, Mark Agnifilo was super, super upset at Diddy's sons were handcuffed and they were removed from the house at gunpoint and they cleared with excessive force and it was to the military encampment, right? And the judge was like, and the prosecution was like, what are you doing? This was standard procedure. Y'all know what it is. And on top of that, we literally got machine guns, ARs, and all this stuff. So what are you talking about, right? Mark Agnifilo wanted his moment to talk about how bad it was that these machine guns were actually, were there, and the fact that they didn't have locks, or it might have had locks, I'm going to get into it. He was descending into madness, even though I will say he showed up and he did his thing, right? Sean the photographer said, every day is lunch break. I'm loving it. Okay, hold on. Let me hurry up and finish with this. Listen. So anyway, Anyway, right? So that got shut down because the judge didn't see the point. And also, it was a dumb argument. But I get it. Diddy is very, very upset that they actually treated him like a criminal because he was being investigated and they found proof that he was doing criminal things. So I thought that was very, very interesting too. Okay, Diddy, sorry, right? Listen, they also said that when you do that questioning, you're not going to be able to talk about remove the gunpoint, handcuff sons, excessive use of force. That is standard procedure for anybody that is actually getting their house raided, okay? Also, they admitted all these exhibits, right? They said, listen, they literally, and I thought, let me just say this, why they were arguing about this was a gross misuse of force and he didn't have the right to be treated that way and all this stuff. I found it very, very odd that at the end of the day, I said, so let me get this straight, that either he or Bianca could testify. I don't think it was Bianca.
Kanye is in the building.
To testify. The fact that they are going to
y'all hit the like button, get the likes up, please.
Maybe the prosecution's whole thing is this lifestyle is largely illegal. So what are you really doing? You see what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, right? If this lifestyle is largely illegal, then what are you doing? Last time I checked, it is still illegal to show prostitutes making love. Y'all think I am going to try to get an interview with him. Let's try since I talk. He might actually do an interview. I want to hear his views on. I wonder why he didn't wear his black leather KKK uniform. I couldn't wear that. You know, I know he said the white leather one. I know we said the black leather one actually fit a little better, but how come he didn't wear that to the court, right? Listen, he is actually there, okay? I just want to know. I would like to get an interview, you know? But again, you guys, I saw him. He said, what's up? We had a little bit of a moment. He is 100% in the courthouse. This is no maybe. This is not, yes, he is in the courthouse, okay? He is wearing a white, not KK, but a white, I don't know, a button-up white denim jacket and his black shades. Bianca was not spotted with them. I don't know how Bianca could dress appropriately for court, but if she did come, that would be a thing, right? He is going to be sitting in the third row on the exact side of the courtroom that I'm sitting in. So I'm sitting in the fourth row. He's going to be sitting in either the second or the third row. We will be on the same side. He saw me as I was going to security, so you know I'm going to do a little twirl and see if I can get on Ye's radar, even though never mind, because Ye be into some things, right? Listen, at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, yeah, literally saw he actually like waved. We had like our moment, said what's up, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I mean, listen, maybe I just reminded him of another fluffy haired girl he used to know. But again, he is 100% in the courtroom, and you know, I was trying to use everything I could to get in there, right? Somebody said, girl, be careful, he might recruit you. And take me away from YouTube. Y'all don't know me very well. Is he short? I will say I think we're the same height. I think we're the same height. And I'm 5... Okay, fine, I'm 5'8.5". I like to say I'm 5'9". I'm 5'8.5". And the heels... That's like what? 5'8.5" with heels. That's like what? 6 foot? He is, I think without heels, we're the same height. I think without heels, we are the same height. I think with heels, he might be an inch or two higher. I think he's like 5'10", 5'11", right? Anyway, Alice Morrow Dennis said, love you, T. So you're on fire. Oh my God, Alice, thank you so much for the super chat. All right. So listen, hold on. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. I'm just texting my sources saying thank you. So I believe, okay, maybe I wasn't the first report because a lot of people be paying attention to what happened in Teterboro Airport. But yesterday he did land in the New Jersey Teterboro Airport, okay? And it was expected that he thought that maybe the prosecution was actually pushing that either he or Bianca could testify. I don't think it was Bianca. I think they would wanted him to testify. The defense, the prosecution, and the judge shut that down because you cannot get last minute witnesses to peripheral things, right? Hold on. 1 second. One second. in any case, right? Kanye is in the building. So is it? 1 second. Okay, all right. So in any case, you guys have the exclusive. So listen. Listen, I'm 5'8.5", but I claim 5'9". Okay, I claim it. I claim it. I think if I stand up strict and straighten my posture, I will be 5'9". Okay, so listen, and y'all know afterwards I am gonna try to get Kanye to comment. He might actually comment. You know? Okay. Okay. So anyway, so what is going on now? Oh, do you know what's very interesting? Hold on, let me tell y'all what's going on in the courthouse. I think this is very, very interesting, okay? Now, during the cross-examination of the fire ballistic, no, it wasn't fire ballistic, but there was a special agent, Ramon, right? He was there to talk about the nature of the search, blah, 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 blah. Now, before that, Mark Agnifilo was super, super upset at Diddy's sons were handcuffed and they were removed from the house at gunpoint and they cleared with excessive force and it was to the military encampment, right? And the judge was like, and the prosecution was like, what are you doing? This was standard procedure. Y'all know what it is. And on top of that, we literally got machine guns, ARs, and all this stuff. So what are you talking about, right? Mark Agnifilo wanted his moment to talk about how bad it was that these machine guns were actually, were there, and the fact that they didn't have locks, or it might have had locks. I'm gonna get into it. He was descending into madness, even though I will say he showed up and he did his thing, right? Sean, the photographer, said every day is lunch break. I'm loving it. Okay, hold on. Let me hurry up and finish with this. Listen. So anyway, Anyway, right? So that got shut down because the judge didn't see the point. And also, it was a dumb argument. But I get it. Diddy is very, very upset that they actually treated him like a criminal because he was being investigated and they found proof that he was doing criminal things. So I thought that was very, very interesting too. Okay, Diddy, sorry, right? Listen, they also said that when you do that questioning, you're not going to be able to talk about removed at gunpoint, handcuffed sons, excessive use of force. That is standard procedure for anybody that is actually getting their house raided, okay? Also, they admitted all these exhibits, right? They said, listen, they literally, and I thought, let me just say this, why they were arguing about this was a gross misuse of force and he didn't have the right to be treated that way and all this stuff. I found it very, very odd that at the end of the day, I said, so let me get this straight. You just finished telling us 4 days ago that it was perfectly rational that you could kick in Jane's doors, 4 doors, chase her down her neighborhood, slap her in the shower, do all this stuff, not leave her house when she told you 11 times to leave her house. That was perfectly normal. But let's actually sit here and have a whole thing about how you feel that the feds were not as gentle as they needed to, on how you feel, Diddy, that the feds did not treat you with respect. I thought that was very, very interesting. So that's cool when you do it, but it's a problem when, when they do it, right? Right? It just made me think about the way that Diddy looks at everybody. Diddy looks at respect, and Diddy looks at like the way he needs to respect it. He thinks there's one rule for him and another rule for somebody else, right? Again, was that cool to kick in all Jane's doors? Was it cool to violate her house? Was it cool to tell her, and have your defense attorney tell her that her only choice is to leave her child's home and everything and show up to her family's house? You don't even know if she gets along with the family. That's another thing. Show up at her family's house all knotted up and black eyes. And are you sitting there walking around her house like King Kong demanding that she take an effing pill and then demanding that the freak off happens? Again, but now you want to have a conversation on how the Fed should have done better. Okay, listen, Cassie was cool to drag. Cassie was cool to do all this stuff, right? It was cool for you to drop kick her, do this, do that. It was a necessary evil, which is, it was just a lifestyle. But when somebody treats you with one iota of the way you treat other people, all of a sudden you got a problem. Okay, cool. I mean, we don't know what it is, but I just thought it was very, very glaring. Like, what are we really doing, okay? So basically, the government rolled their eyes just like I did. Fabulous faces, team tall girls. I'm the same height. I know that's right. I know that's right. I don't know why everybody thought I was like, when I got here, everybody thought I was like 5'2". Ain't nothing wrong with being 5'2", especially in high school. They love those little 3 apple high girls. But yeah, everybody is always surprised that I'm not 5'2". I guess I got 5'2" energy, a pocket full of energy. Nancy Bermudez Gamble, thank you so much for the super chat. Also, I Rock Gemstone said, thank you for bringing us the real tea. You're welcome. Listen, I'm gonna get through this because I don't want to go back late. And I'm gonna be like, yay, yay, yay. Diddy gonna be like, don't talk to her. And I'm gonna be like, yay, yay, yay. Come here. Excuse me, I'm gonna try to act like, like I really care. Excuse me, no, this has nothing to do with the case. See, I'm looking for a dress that looks like I'm wearing nothing, but I still want it to be a dress of material. Do you know anybody? I'm sorry, who are you? Do you know anybody that might be able to help me? Excuse me. I'm thinking about tomorrow wearing a pair of legs pantyhose, as a dress, a shirt, and a skirt all at the same time. Do you know anybody that might be? What is your name, Mr. Woost, is it? Act like I don't even know. Mr. Woost, is it? Yes, Mr. Woost. Yes. I'm literally going to act like Nikki Blue Eyes Austin said, love you, Tisa. Girl, all the way from the UK. By the way, I'm doing jury service in 4 to 10 days on the 30th of June. Wish me luck. I wish you all luck. May justice be swift and come from your mouth. May it be right. Oh, jury number 6, before we get back into this. Here's the deal with jury number 6. The judge actually did talk about jury number 6 a lot, and we actually do need to talk about jury number 6, okay? So the judge says that the way, first of all, the judge admonished Diddy's defense team and said, how dare you try to imply that there was any type of targeting, maliciousness, or anything from the government's part for what's going on jury number 6. He said, let me tell you what actually happened. He said that jury number 6 made an offhand comment to somebody in jury processing. An offhand comment. Prosecution didn't know about this, defense didn't know about it. The person in jury processing said, this might be a problem. That's why you gotta watch about who you talk about, Said, this might be a problem. And literally put in a separate inquiry that I just had a private conversation with jury number 6. They made this offhand comment, but if they did, there's a real problem we need to look into. They started an independent investigation. Not the feds, not the defense, but the people who handle the jury started an independent investigation. And they found out that there were discrepancies based off of the offhand comment the juror 6 said now that called into question what they said back then, right? Rich Guy Interviews, thank you so much for the super chat, right? Okay, so he said, so that's how it came. Now, once that happened, right? Once that happened, the jurors actually, the juror people referred that told the defense and prosecution what they actually found. The defense said, we don't care, they can stay, right? The prosecution was like, well, hold on. Because why this might just be an oversight where it was a communication issue, if you ask me, did you eat breakfast? And I'm like, no, I didn't eat breakfast. But then you're like, well, hold on. Did you not have a green goddess smoothie this morning? Okay, yeah, but I don't consider a smoothie breakfast. I thought you were talking about that I ate pancakes, eggs, turkey sausage, beef bacon. That's what I actually think is a breakfast. So it could have been a miscommunication. I'm not lying for say. I just don't count a green smoothie as a breakfast. So the prosecution was like, hold on, we need to look at this. Because if this was just a plain oversight, then fine. But if this wasn't, and they concealed, it goes to their integrity and their honesty. We can't have someone that's even lying in any way, shape, or form. Listen, Miss Beast Hayden always said, Tisa, the demon diddler anger is psychotic. Yes, it is psychotic. I 100% believe that, right? So anyway, right? I said, okay. So the judge was like, listen, First of all, stop implying that the prosecution is doing targeting. The fact that you would do that when they behaved above reproach and they didn't even have anything to do with this, again, it seems to me like Diddy's team is just trying to get any narrative started. So what did they say, right? They said, listen, here's what we'll do. Okay, the judge said that later on today he's going to decide by the end of the day, but he said he's going to call in that juror. He's going to call in that juror into his chambers, and when he calls that juror into his chambers, and I think both sides are going to be there, he is going to say, listen, can you let us know about these comments that you said? By his way, juror 6 doesn't know he's in trouble. They're in trouble, right? Doesn't know that he's in trouble. All these conversations have been happening outside the jury. So they're going to call him into the chambers and be like, yo, you said this and that to somebody on our jury team. It was a little bit confusing. Can you explain that? If he explains it like, yo, I don't look at Green Goddess as like breakfast, but like, what's the problem? Then they're going to let him stay. However, if he applies, or if there's anything from his answers that implies that this was an actual deception, then he is 100%, if there's anything that implies an actual deception, then he's going to 100% remove him from the jury, because the issue isn't the oversight. They said it might be a small one, it might be communication. The issue is, right? The issue is on whether or not there was deception involved, even if it was minor deception. They can't have any jurors that are trying to deceive, have deceived, will deceive, this, that, and the third, right? Yes. So this jury is not sequestered. If you guys don't know, this jury is not sequestered. Sequester is when they put the juries up in a hotel room. They control everyone they talk to, everything they see, all the media they have, and they're completely cut off from the outside world. That is not what's happening here. The jurors come in every morning. Now, they got a little fast track line, right? But they come in every single morning through their fast track line, and at night, they get to go home, and they are home every day, okay? The only people that would know there were juries would be people in the courtroom. But they get to go home, listen, they get to go home every single night. Now, when they go home, they do under penalty of perjury that they are not supposed to look at media, talk about the case, mention the case, or look at anything related to the case. That is the promise that they have to make, okay? Now, that's it. It is what it is, and we have to believe that they are doing the right actual thing, right? We have to think, yes, you guys, hi, my name is Tisa, and welcome to my live. How do I know that Ye is 100% in the court, right? Ye is 100% in the court because I was looking across, and I said, oh, right? I looked across, and I was like, oh, and he waved to me, right? So you know me, hey, what's up, right? We had, said hellos, blah, 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 and then that's it. And then I grabbed all my stuff and ran down here to give you all the tea. I know that Ye is 100% in the courtroom because I actually talked to him, okay? I actually talked to him. Antogonia Hart said, I'm enjoying the Nancy Grace appearances. Thank you for highlighting the Romeo pimp sex trafficking tactics, including the fraud and the coercion. I'm glad Judge Aaron is getting to the bottom of Juror 6 conduct. Again, here's the thing. Judge Aaron about Juror 6 conduct, there's nothing inherently devious about it. However, Nancy Bajo said, welcome so much, and welcome to Towers. There's nothing inherently devious about it. However, they need to question him to see if there was any deception involved. And if there was any deception involved, then he's out of here. But if it was a simple mistake or miscommunication, then they will let it slide, right? Again, I do think, Pamela Lee, that he is trying to use Kanye to stick with Trump about a pardon, even though 50 Cent is like on the outside telling Trump, no, you know what, and you know 50 Cent is the biggest instigator in the world. So I wanted you to believe that he probably made a video compilation of every single time, and I mean every single time, that Trump has ever, that Diddy has ever spoken bad about Trump. And he probably hit send on that thing. He probably hit send on that way out. All right. Yeah, Curtis is not having it. Curtis is not having it. Okay. So in any case, I'm gonna literally try. Y'all know me. I'm gonna be right in there, right? I'm gonna be right in there in Yeezy's face trying to get an exclusive. If I had known, I would have wore like pantyhose as a top and a bottom. Do something to get his attention. I mean, I'm saying, still doing it, right? But I would have wore something that would have got his attention and got that exclusive, you know? But I'm still gonna try to get, like, I'm gonna try to talk to him of course I'm gonna try to talk to him. I talked to him in the hallway. I literally was like, oh, and he waved at me because I was looking like, why does this mofo look so familiar, right? And you know, I was thinking about all this other stuff. And then that's when I said, oh, and he waved at me. We're close, had the conversation. It was cool. All right, so I'm gonna try to get like a whole combo. But it's actually thrown off again. The plan was for him to come in yesterday, maybe say some words. But the prosecution was like, will you stop dragging it? Like, this is not even central to the case. Why should you be? Again, I think they're trying to make the jury just all was like, oh my God, the star power. Because at the end of the day, well, that really helped though, because Ye is like battling his own stuff. And it's crazy to me. I don't know. I'm going to tell y'all how the jury takes it or what the jury happens. If the jury is starstruck, Dragon Seed said Trump Jr. Oreo Day Party. If the jury's starstruck, I'm going to tell y'all what I think. If the jury says anything, I'm going to tell y'all what I think. That's what I said. Why don't you wear your K-hood in here? You know, the one that was fitted, buttoned up to the top. Why don't you wear that, right? Also, Nancy Bill, thank you so much for the super chat, right? No, Ye and Bianca say they get in a divorce every other day. Who knows with them? They just that couple, right? Listen, anyway, right? Listen. Stay balanced, are you dumb? You said if T comes pro Diddy, then you know Kanye got to her. Are y'all dumb? But like, y'all don't actually think. Do you know how many times I've been propositioned and offered to sell my integrity? Like, the fact that y'all think that this is the first time that people have been in my DMs, been in my Gmail, been in my face, offering me money, offering me exclusives, offering me interviews, offering me anything to change my narrative on a number of issues, not just Diddy. Do y'all, like, honestly not understand how people would love to use this platform and my voice for me to move the needle? And every single time I've said no. And you somehow think that you are literally going to have me on some groupie stuff and I'm going to see Kanye and be like, oh my God. Do y'all see what this is? I'm literally getting giddy that I might get some tea for y'all. And get an exclusive that y'all hear first. And get a funny thing. I'm out here hustling for y'all. And y'all hear that? All you can say is, oh, we hear pro Diddy stuff. We know Ye got to her. Y'all really think I'm that dumb? That stupid and don't have that much integrity? Y'all really think I'm some, to lack of better words, some groupie that just want to be down and be at industry parties? Like, anyway, Slowrilla said, I know this is off topic. Do you think Trump will pardon, help R. Kelly? I don't know. I hope. Hey, thank you. What's your name?
First of all, Roger. This is Roger.
Hey, Roger. Look, hold the phone up. He's watching me in real time. Look, it's meta. A stream inside of a stream inside of a stream.
She's 5'9". She's 5'9".
Yes.
I'm 6 feet.
Wait. Tell him again.
5'9". She's 5'9" and I'm 6 feet.
Exactly. So we got it. See? All right. Yeah. Roger Francois. Thank you, Mr. Francois. Thank you. You said this is the most Kanye thing ever. Exactly, Dory. The most Kanye thing ever. Kevin Whitney said, thank you for keeping Anchorage Alaska informed. Love your hard work. Glad to see it's paying off. Thank y'all. I appreciate that. Again, y'all really think I'm getting starstruck? Y'all don't know the people and the PR people and all this that have tried to offer me access. Offer me into, like, oh, do you want to come here? Do you want to go there? This is going to be love. Y'all don't know the people. It's like, oh, I think we should. Please. Anyway, Talani Flores, if I haven't done it yet, what makes you think? And I don't need to. Also, right? The light's still on and being that good. But if I haven't done it, why would y'all think me seeing Ye would make you be like, he like turned pro Diddy? Shut up. Anyway, Raven 33, thank you so much, right? All right, listen. Court is back in session, right? But they're not official. The jury's not back in. Clamade, Texas Thick, thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate that. Also, really quick, let me just get this off really quick. Listen. Anyway, they pulled out the choppers. It was really bad. Mark Agnevillian went off on this weird tangent about whether the guns were locked or not. They had a customized semi-automatic. Come here. Oh. Thank you. Oh, is Ye about to come out? Okay, hold on. Ye's about to come out. Hold on. Let's see if we can get.
Y'all get the likes up. Where is Ye?
Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm here. Y'all can hear me now, right? Is it still? Okay. Can y'all hear me now? Say put a 1 if you can. Okay. So Ye's about to come out the corner. I'm waiting in the thing. We're either going to be humiliated or we're going to get what we want. All right? We're either going to be humiliated or we're going to get the interview. Okay? Everybody is looking and then we're going to see. Okay? Oh, now
Hi, Ash, B. Rising,
okay. Let's just
Jolene.
On the steps and let's go. Let's go. All right, we are waiting.
Hey, Leo.
We are waiting. Okay.
Y'all hit the polls. What y'all think? Is this helping Diddy?
What's that? He's getting his phone out the security check. Yeah. So he's coming out this way.
Back up.
All right.
Away from the steps.
All right. So he said away from the steps. He said back up. I want to be on this side.
Back that thing up.
He's going to have to go too.
That thing up.
Step off to the side. So now he's leaving out the front. Oh, okay. So he did leave out the front. Huh? Oh. Wait, so is he
That's
going
sugar
to the front?
draws.
I don't know. I'm hearing the same thing.
Why you can't see?
Okay.
Everybody else can see.
Hey, did he?
Check your device.
Oh, so he's going out the front. Okay. So they just told me he's going out the front. Hold on. Let's see if we can go. Out the front. Hold on, y'all. Let's see if we can get. Okay. I'm running. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Okay. Run. Hold on. So wait, why did he leave? Did he get kicked out the courtroom? Hold on. I'm gonna get yelled at for doing this, but fuck it. Let's see. Did he already leave?
Yes.
Anyway, I was running for nothing. I knew he was gonna be out front. I knew it. So he just left out the Mercedes. Hold on. Okay, so he just left. And now they cleared the area. Okay. Anyway, fucking yay. Anyway, he just cleared the area. So basically, Kanye just did what Kanye did. He did some stunt queen antics. He was supposed to go out of the back, but he saw the hoopla and he decided to go up the side. So he came into the courtroom as a show of support, and I think he got cleared out because he came on lunch break and then he left. And even when he entered, he had to have been texted it was lunch break. We saw Xavier, his attorney, going downstairs a bunch. And when he was going downstairs, I was thinking, yo, I think he's doing A, B, and C, right? And that's why I came to get my phone. And I left before lunch break. Okay, so I left early. And I was thinking something was up because I had no go. Anyway.
Okay, sugar dogs.
Okay.
Okay.
God damn it. Making me waste my time and interrupt this good live. Anyway, he's going to be back, though. He's going to be back Monday. Nancy Belace, I like the way, Belace, my name. I've noticed you're not good with pronunciation. No, I am not. I am dyslexic. But if you'd like to give me the phonetic version, I'll take time to learn it. Anyway, that's the queen.
First of all, right? What can we say? Kanye West was in court, okay? Your girl almost got the exclusive, okay? But also, we put our ear to the ground and we were like, why does Kanye need to be in court, okay? What is Diddy's plan? This looks like, according to sources, that this is
sugar dog, hit the like button.
Last desperate attempt to try to get on Trump's radar, to try to sway public opinion.
All of this is about Trump.
This, right? Because I
even
went live,
R. Kelly.
Literally, when I almost got the scoop of the century, and I want to say this. I now feel sorry for any woman that even came forward to testify in Diddy's case. Why? Because you know what? I realized that when you are a woman, you've got, no matter how innocuous it is, you got men and you got women always trying to take you down. Case in point, let me curse some of y'all out. Not y'all, but the people in the back. I literally, let me say the same, right? I heard some people criticizing me for how excited I got that I almost got an exclusive from Kanye. Oh my God, talking to me like I'm an MF groupie and not a journalist out here getting scoops. If it wasn't me, some of y'all would have been reading this from the paper and been like, Tisa, do you have any comment? Do you understand what was going on? It was swarmed. Every major media publication wanted to get a scoop, wanted to get an exclusive. Me and my little engine that could YouTube was right there. I activated. I was excited because I thought quick. I moved fast. And I literally almost got the scoop on what every single major media publication, y'all couldn't see it, but it was squad deep. There was like literally 40 or 50 cameramen, reporters, not the public, but media that were trying to get a scoop. And I found a way to slide to the left and actually get an exclusive and a scoop. And I showed my joy at the fact that I could get an exclusive. I could get a scoop, that I was out here working, and people took that. And because clearly some of y'all think I'm attractive, and because I am a woman, people tried to twist that and act like this is an album release party and I'm a groupie trying to be down when I am actually a journalist and I'm working. Oh, you really went to... Yes, dummies. How do you think journalists get exclusives? Not y'all, but the people in the back. How do y'all think that journalists get
the
exclusives?
slow people in the back?
How do you think the fact that I almost scooped every major media publication out here, and y'all take my joy at literally being a hustler, and y'all take that and try to twist it because you're busy projecting on what you think a woman should be? And a woman that, by the way, I get it, y'all think, but you literally sit there and you project your issues with women and your issues with women that you feel like are split into, and you try to turn something that was so beautiful into such an ugly and disgusting thing. Whoever has it, y'all can leave. Y'all can leave. Take your issues out with the girls you didn't like in high school.
That's
with
right.
Someone else. Take your issues out.
Take your mama issues.
You with someone else.
Right.
I am a journalist. I am working, and the fact that I have y'all with me, and I'm literally expressing such pure joy, and y'all. Anyway, let's move on. But I just had to curse some people out, right? Because at the end of the day, you couldn't see what was going on. 40, 50 journalists and me, a little YouTube channel that literally was filming off my iPhone, almost got the scoop on every media publication, and I did something that no other media publication could do. And people want to twist that into, oh, you're just excited you saw a celebrity. Do y'all really think, after being around me for so many years, that I would ever be impressed with that? Do y'all think, like, not y'all, but the people in the back. Anyway, let's get into what actually happened in court, right? Listen, it's not even about the haters. Let me just say this. It really made me realize what those women on the stand are going through. There are people that are waiting to judge you. And don't get me wrong, I can take it, F it. I see y'all, I hear y'all, I don't care. The people in the back. But it really just put it in focus the way that there really is men and women waiting to judge, tear down, and find a way to discredit any woman.
They closet haters. They online haters.
Not worthy of respect. You are doing something wrong, and it really brought it home with the Jane Does. The fact that they actually got up on stand and they had the courage to actually speak truth, even though they are going through a million times more than I'm going. Because at the end of the day, I got y'all. I know y'all, my family. I know that you guys see my heart, and I know the fact that you guys allow me to express pure joy at what I'm doing and what I'm going through, and happiness at like
girl, let that go.
Let's just say it, the way I am growing. I know you guys will allow me, and I have that family, but those Jane Does, they don't have it. Cassie don't have that. Whatever I went through just for those 10 minutes, because I was happy that I actually did something that no major media news organizations could do, and they turned it into something sick, because in their mind, every woman
baby girl
it's like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to get into, it's like, I don't even want to get into why, but it just really gave me compassion. And I really, really want to give big ups to the victims that had the courage to testify. And honestly, I see why Gina didn't testify. I mean, it might be because she's still in love with that fool, but I see why, because it literally is not for the faint of heart. And there's an army of women and men that will try to tear you down any which way you do. And it's not for the faint of heart. But you know what that said? That said, let's move on. Okay, y'all. So listen, hey, what's up, Mama? So what happened in the courtroom? And guess what? I'm going to let this little light of mine shine. And I am proud of what I did. And I am giddy at the fact that I did something that no other major media news source can do. And I am glad that I got the scoop for y'all where 40, 50 people couldn't get as close as I did. And I am excited that yes, I'm in here swimming with sharks. And I'm doing good, so I'm super happy, you know? Anyway, y'all, let's get into it. I'm gonna read y'all super chats in a second. Let's get into what's going on. So Diddy's, his ex-assistant got immunity and they're testifying. But first of all, let's talk about so Diddy, Kanye, I heard you saying, Tisa, are you done cursing us out? Why was they there? The people that been here for a while was like, yeah, give her 2 more minutes. We're going to come back and she's going to tell. So what is the issue and why was he there? People are saying, first of all, he went into the overflow room, not the actual courtroom. And I wanted to get that exclusive because y'all know me. I'm like, hi, Mr. West. So why are you supporting this derelict? But you have to be nice enough to actually.
Yeah, I need for y'all to hit the like button.
You have to find a way to get in. Talk about
get the likes up.
Diddy, Kanye, I heard you saying, Tisa, are you cursing us out? Why was they there? The people that been here for a while was like, yeah, give her 2 more minutes. We're going to come back and she's going to tell. So what is the issue?
Get the like up, please.
Went into the overflow room, not the actual courtroom. And I wanted to get that exclusive because y'all know me. Hi, Mr. West. So why are you supporting this derelict? You have to be nice enough to actually get questions in. You have to find a way to get in and ask questions. But I have some questions. Why are you supporting? What's up with your lawsuits? What's going on?
Because he got some
lawsuits for doing weird stuff with Bianca for employees. If you look at the lawsuits that Ye has against him, he actually has Diddy-like lawsuits. But the fact that every major publication was trying to get a scoop, and I feel like the people hating on me, y'all would have been reading those publications. But anyway, why is he here? Sources are saying it has to do everything with the pardon. Now, if you guys don't know, 9 months ago, I was the first one that broke that pardon news. First very one, where I said, you guys, brace for it. I think it was like right after Biden got elected. I was like, yo, Diddy wants a president. No, not Biden, Trump. Diddy wants a presidential election. Go ahead and check the timestamps. Now, here's the thing. Would he get one?
Who knows? At this point, he was either looking for the Biden administration or he was looking for Trump's administration to hook him up, okay? A lot of people thought I was lying. They thought I was making up shit. It wasn't until, well, who was it? Chime Roundtree with the Rolling Stones actually dropped an exclusive, I think 3 weeks ago. That now, because the Rolling Stones are saying, everybody's like, oh my God, Diddy's looking for a pardon. However, Trump spoke to this, okay? I do believe Trump planted the question. Just hear me out, okay? Hear me out. Trump keeps a tight leash on his newsroom. There is no way that he would ever, there is no way that he would ever allow a question into that room without it being. It was also by Fox News. Fox News and Trump go together real bad. Let's just say what it is. They have a very, very good working relationship. So hear me out. The fact that Trump even said, I don't really know what's going on, which, I mean, he is president.
Oh, he can be lying.
And he said, I'm going to look into it. And if he's being treated unfairly, I would more than be happy. No, then I'll look into a pardon if he's being treated unfairly. Now, a lot of Diddy supporters were like, oh my God, Trump going to pardon Diddy. A lot of Trump supporters, MAGA, was like, ain't no way he's going to actually pardon Diddy, okay? But here's the thing. First of all, I actually do think that Trump is messing with Diddy. If you guys don't know, when it came to Mark Garagos, when it came to Ben Marsalis, and that whole Michael Avenatti, Stormy Daniels impeachment thing, that was supposedly spearheaded by Mark, by Stormy, by all those people. Okay? Well, not Stormy. Yeah, she was involved by all those people because they wanted to impeach Trump and they wanted to get him out of here. Diddy, Ron Burkle, that whole billionaire said, Diddy was like this. Diddy was supposed to mobilize the black community that helped wrap Trump up and get him out of here and usher in Democratic leadership. It doesn't matter what side you're on. This is what it is. Go on to the political blogs. They've been talking about this for years. Now, Taney Garagos, right? It's Mark Garagos' daughter. Mark Garagos was just sitting in Diddy's courtroom. Trump has real beef with them. Trump is also a June Gemini. If you know anything about astrology, if you believe in astrology, and you know anything about Geminis, they are the pettiest of the pettiest of the pettiness. When beef ends with a June Gemini, it ends because everything ends. It ends because everything ends. So why do I say this? I say all this to say that I think that Trump has an issue, even though Diddy and Trump used to be friends, right? I think that he really has real beef with Diddy. I think that he would love to see Diddy grovel. He would love to see Diddy kiss the rings. He would love Diddy to even pay money for, to try to see if he could buy a pardon. And then I think at the end of it, Trump is going to tell Diddy no. I honestly do think that's what's going on. I do not think that he's seriously considering it because they have too much beef and Diddy sided with the wrong people. Now, sources have said that if Diddy is willing to give up big DNC people that were on Epstein's Island, because that's the whole thing, right? If he's willing to give up bigger people, then maybe there might be a pardon, but that's only because maybe he'll do what he did with Eric Adams, where he dismissed all charges, but hasn't granted the pardon yet, because you keep him on a short leash, right? Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? Like, keep him on like a short leash, right? But if he dismissed the charges, right, without prejudice, meaning they could be brought up, right? Because don't forget that Damian Williams, the person that brought the charges against Diddy, he resigned. I think he's running for office, but Trump has a guy right now in the SDNY, right? So I say all that to say that is, and this is what's going on the political boards, right? That if Diddy would agree to literally see the Democratic powerhouses and actually drop dime on them and let them know, let's also not forget that even though he is covering up, there's Jimmy Levine, whatever, Clive Davis, a lot of big people in the record industry have talked about and mentioned in this trial, but for some reason the mainstream media is not covering up. They say a record producer or this or that or a high-ranking record executive. The whole point is people are saying that if Diddy can leverage his contacts and give up high-ranking people that either fund the DNC or are part of the DNC, then Trump might be willing to at least dismiss the charges so that
Trump is in there too, though.
This is just a theory. I'm letting you know what the theories are, okay? You might have your own theories. I'm just letting you know what I heard. Speaking about what I heard, if you guys want something that's more like Q&A, don't forget there is a link in my bio There is going to be a link in my bio for tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. It's going to either be 7 p.m. or 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be live on Spoutable. Spoutable is like Twitter, right? It's going to be kind of like a Twitter space, but even better. You guys can ask back and forth and pick my was going to testify. There's no way he was going to testify. He's not on the witness list unless Diddy brings him on the witness list. And let's be real, right? But let's be real. Would you let Kanye West testify on your behalf? Would you let Kanye West get on the witness stand? Would you? I actually talked to Kanye, saw him before the press did, got the whatever. Go look the other live. Yes, I am happy at my journalistic chops. And I am happy at how fearless I was and how I went to it. Anybody that knows anything about me and Kanye, my coverage, I am not a fan of what he's devolved into. Y'all know I'm definitely not a fan of Diddy, but I am proud of myself for putting myself out there for people that don't like me and still trying to get that exclusive for you guys. So shout out to me for doing that, okay? Shout out to me for doing that. And yes, I will say shout out to me, okay? The point of the matter is, back to the pardon. So why was Kanye there? He was not going to be allowed to testify. And Diddy's witnesses don't start until not next week, but the week after that. So why was he there? Let's go back to Trump's thing. That if he sees he's being treated unfairly, then he'll look into a pardon. Again, I think Trump is BSing Diddy. I think he wants to, I think it's humiliation ritual. I think he wants to humiliate him, see him crawl and still tell him no. However, that doesn't mean that Diddy isn't so desperate that he's going to take whatever chance he can, right? Right? Exactly. I'm doing my job just like the defense is doing theirs. Exactly. My job is to get the tea by any means necessary. Well, not any means necessary, but you know, next to any means necessary. So getting back to the thing about the real reason why Kanye was here, because they are trying to turn the tide. Listen, in Diddy's world, in Kanye's world, it doesn't matter what reality is. It's what people believe. It doesn't matter what reality is. It's what people believe. So what do they need people to believe? They need people to believe that this is all bullshit. There's nothing to this. The prosecution made things up. The prosecution planted something. Don't you know he's being treated unfairly? How could you guys do this? There's just no way.
Right.
That's what he needs people to believe. And if he can get people to believe that, in his mind, it opens the door, right? In his mind, it opens the door to the prosecution. In his line, it opens the door to the prosecution looking like they're acting bad, looking like they're being racist, looking like they're doing anything that is improper. And if that does, Diddy thinks that he can bring that, right? They can bring that to, hey, Angie and Foskies, thank you so much. Thank you. He thinks he can bring that to actual, he thinks that he can bring that to actual Trump, and then Trump will actually pardon him. You guys double tap that screen to hit the like button, please. He thinks that Trump will pardon him. Again, I think Trump is toying with him. I think that he has a grudge against Diddy. I think that Trump, we've seen, whether you're a fan of him or not, that man can be vindictive when he wants to. Maybe he holds all grudges, and he has a big grudge to go against Diddy. But again, Kanye West being there wasn't to testify. It was to turn the tide of public opinion. Now, right? Listen, right? But here's the thing, right? Here is the thing. Here is the thing.
Double tap your screen.
Okay. But here, oh wait, hold on. Hold on. But here is the thing, that's all you need. Now, what do we have to show that's actually what's going on? The judge actually admonished the defense, right? Admonished the defense for the fact that they said that the defense was trying to imply that, hey, what's up, how are you? They said the defense was trying to imply that the prosecution had singled out a black juror, and they were trying to do this. You know, they keep trying to run with the race card, even though this has nothing to do with race. This has to do with good versus evil. And if you guys don't know,
Diddy is evil, okay? He admonished them and he said, why do you guys keep implying when you know how I know that the prosecution had nothing to do with this juror being investigated? As a matter of fact, the juror unit that deals with them heard him say something on a throwaway comment, and it didn't jive, and there was a discrepancy, and they're the ones that started the investigation. And once they were done with the investigation and they found their findings, they gave it to the defense and the prosecution. And the prosecution said, listen, this might be a little issue. Apparently, there's some discrepancy in paperwork. However, the judge agreed that we need to question him in closed chambers to see, right? To see if one, right? They need to question him in chambers to actually see a few things. One, to actually see if it was just an oversight. Again, I made this at my last live. Whether I consider a green smoothie breakfast or not, I do not. I believe breakfast is pancakes, eggs, some turkey bacon, some beef sausage, or whether you think of food. Like, did you eat breakfast? Nah. And somebody's like, you're a liar, you had a smoothie. I don't consider a smoothie breakfast. That's juice, right? The whole point of the matter is they're going to question him. And if they get any implication that there was deceit involved, that is where he was going to be removed. Again, it's not the oversight. That could just be something that could be wrong. It's the fact that it might show there's deceit. But the defense has kept trying to link the prosecution to racism, this, that, and the third. Again, it's the Mark Agnifilio special. Really quick, y'all. Hold on really quick, y'all. Okay, I'm back. Really quick, let me just take a quick commercial break and read this. While I'm doing the commercial break, don't forget tonight, I believe at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I just had to say, don't forget tonight, I believe at 7. But I just had to say that because it's like, I want people to know you're not going to steal my joy. And I am very proud of what I did. And I'm going to take you guys with me. And when I feel joyous, you're going to see me be joyous. I can't help the evil that's in hearts of men. Alejandro Arnado, people, thank you so much for the super chat. Also, Love Joy said, keep up the excellent journalism. Us in front of you, appreciate. Thank you. Coco Cami said, Tisa's been on Kanye's necks for years. Don't do that to her. Thank you. Thank you. You know. Classy222 said, we love you, Tisa. They are haters. Thank you. The Unknown Healer said, keep being amazing. Love your joy and growth. Thank you. And Christine Robles said, you're the baddest. Oh, thank you. The journalists out there. Janice Alvarado said, you're awesome. Keep doing you. Thank you so much. Also, Karitza Kim, thank you so much for the super chat. Victoria Anderson, thank you. Kay said, my first super chat belongs to you. Keep shining. Thank you, Kay. Stop. I actually want to know. Toy Wood. First of all, so MAGA, put a 1 in the comments if you think that Trump will pardon Diddy, right? Put a 3 in the comments, two-part thing. If you put a 1 in the comments if you think he'll be pardoned, put a 2 in the pardon if you think he'll be no. Put a 3 in the comments, it's two-part. If you think it's going to hurt him, and put a 4 if you think that it's not going to affect the way you feel about him. Maisha Couples, Maisha Capel said, work, fine, time to play. Love you, gal. This is my play. Thank you so much. Also, Mrs. Jigga, thank you. Nicola, thank you. V, thank you. B Dizzle said, I saw you running to catch Yay. Bring some tennis shoes next time, sisters. Stay ready. Y'all saw me skipping in my heels. I was literally about to get the exclusive in the courthouse and then outside, but then everybody saw me waiting. And anyway, it doesn't matter. It's in the last live. I'm proud of what I did. J Peaches 73 said, you that girl, Tisa. Much love. You got this. Thank you. And Holda H, thank you so much for the super chat. Okay, so let me get into all message. Have y'all started? But somebody said 2 and 3. So you don't think that at 1 and 3. So you think that he's going to pardon and he's going to pardon and so 1 is Diddy will be pardoned. 2 is he won't be pardoned. 3 is he'll be pardoned and it's going to hurt Trump. 4 is he'll be pardoned and it's not going to hurt Trump. Okay? And it's not going to hurt Trump. You get what I'm saying? Listen. Again, Living in Idaho said, MAGA here, no way he'll pardon him after the evidence. MAGA would never support a pardon. I will say one thing. MAGA seems like they're very, 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 very anti-PDF file.
anti-sex trafficking. If there's one thing that unites the left, right, front, center, and back, is the fact that I think we all universally hate pedophiles and we all universally want sex traffickers to go away. Captain Spinoff, thank you so much for the super chat. I think that's one thing that unites like America. I hope it is, right? Margarita Herenda says, keep going, Tisa, you rock. Thank you. I appreciate that so much, right? But do y'all think that it will actually happen? Let's break this down. 1, do you think that he'll be pardoned? 2, you don't think he's pardoned. Hit the thing. Hit the thing. Listen, there's nothing about what you believe politically. Let me know, 1, if you think he'll be pardoned. 2, if you think he won't. Joey D, welcome to the Tattletales fam. Also, Hold the 8 said, I'm MAGA. I believe Trump is 100% trolling about a pardon. You're correct about the Gemini thing. Hold the H. See, the Geminis know. The Geminis know. Jabber Girl 59. Twin said, hi Tisa, so very proud of you. You're beautiful, brave, and your very own little Inspector Gadget. Been watching for years. Thank you so much, Jabber Girl. Let's see, so who thinks, so a lot of y'all think that he's not going to be pardoned. Okay, all right, so y'all think he's not going to be pardoned. Let's get into something else, okay? All right, how about this? For those of you that believe he's going to be pardoned, or if he is pardoned,
didn't our military take an oath
you think that this is going
to defend and not
hurt?
Justin, what does that have to do with what we're talking about over here? What are you talking about, Justin?
Won't care. You guys will
we're not talking about the military. What are you talking about?
Interesting to see, right? And again, I know what they say, but I'd like to also hear from MAGA to actually be like, because y'all are deep into it. What would you all still
Justin,
support?
stay on topic.
You know?
Hi, Vanessa.
Listen. It is what it is. Listen. At the
Please
end
stay
of
on
the day,
topic.
Kanye was brought out here to actually show if the public opinion can be swayed. I think Diddy is too far gone. I hear they've heard too many disgusting things. As much as people are trying to say they don't see RICO, they don't see sex trafficking, I feel like the average person, whether you are MAGA, whether you're Democrat, whether you're liberal, libertarian, it doesn't matter. I feel like across all points of the American political spectrum, everybody's just sitting there being like, oh, hell no. Azaria, thank you so much for the super chat. That's what I think. That's what I think. I think it unites all of us. This is one issue that we can all get behind. Cherry, thank you so much, right? Let's see. Listen. Again, I think that's what it is. Now, at the end of the day, who is this? At the end of the day, when it comes to, so what actually happened in court? So Mark Agnifilio, hold on really quick, I'm gonna tell y'all what happened in court and then I'm gonna head back in, okay? Mark Agnifilio, so the judge actually destroyed Diddy and told him to stop communicating. Again, the prosecution said, Your Honor, our people in the court, so they have people set up all the court to talk and watch.
It's called reaction.
Communicate.
Piola.
He stopped nodding emphatically to the jury. But what did he do this time? Because I was sitting right behind him. I saw it in real time. Now, when the prosecution accused Diddy today of doing that, right? Brian still stood up and was like, Your Honor, I just let you know that I've been here sitting right by him and I would never let my client do that, blah, 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 blah. And I literally opened my mouth in my head and was like, oh my God, because I literally was sitting there. So I'm sitting there, right? I'm behind Diddy. You guys are me, right? I'm sitting there and they were doing, Mark Agnifilio was on the cross, and then all of a sudden I saw Diddy turn around because I'm sitting a row behind where the family is, right? I saw Diddy turn around and go, and then he mouthed something like, I don't know, it sounded like he mouthed it like this, right? Like, he mouthed something. He wasn't just moving emphatically. I saw him mouth something. Now, there are no cameras in the federal courtroom, and it's only eyewitnesses, okay? But the prosecution was like, we need to remind Diddy that unseen testimony isn't just, it's not just standing in, like nodding to the jury. It's also making any type of facial expression or body movement, even to your family. It's anything that the jury can see. Listen, Tori Woods said, Tease, I believe Diddy got something on Kanye. Let me tell y'all something, right? Hold on really quick, you guys. Hold on. let's get into this. Oh, Don Thomas, thank you so much for the super chat. Also, I want to go, oh, Ralph Allen, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh my God, you guys are blessing me. And oh my God, Jacoby Burns, you said, girl, keep going. You guys have been blessing me. Thank you so much for the super chats. Joey D, welcome to the family. Oh my God. B Dizzle said MAGA won't care for the most part. They have bigger fish to fry. They're frying right now. Okay, maybe that's true. Dawn Thomas. Oh my God. Ralph Allen and also Jacoby Burns, thank you so much for the generous. All you guys are being so generous of me, but oh my God, you guys really bless me. I really, really appreciate that. Listen, I really, really appreciate that. So listen, real quick, you guys are saying that you think Diddy has something on Kanye. I did a thing where I read Kanye's old lawsuits. Kanye is even to any sicker. Well, I don't know about sicker, but Kanye is into the same sick shit, the lifestyle that Diddy is into. Now, I don't know if Kanye is beating on women, but he did tweet old time ago, do you even love your girl if you don't beat her? Sometimes you gotta just smack a girl. He was literally tweeting about how he lays hands on women, so he even might be using the violence. But my whole point of the matter is, I don't think Diddy has anything on Kanye. I think that Kanye has shit on Kanye. I think they were into the same lifestyle. I think they were into the same sick shit. That's why every time he opens his mouth, Kim Kardashian wants Kanye to be quiet. As a matter of fact, when I get home, I'm going to re-upload some of the videos I did about Kanye, and I'll go into some of his lawsuits. But when I say they are sick, baby, they are sick, 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 sick. Captain Spinoff, thank you so much for the super chat. When I say they are sick, they are super, super, super sick, right? So I'm literally just wondering, people, Diddy don't got nothing on Kanye. I think Kanye and Diddy are just, if you actually listen to what Jane Doe testified, Kanye and Diddy were swapping out their favorite sex workers. They're into the same stuff. And if you think about what Kanye was into, watching men bang their girl, Diddy's into the same stuff that Kanye is at. I'm going to go home and read the lawsuits with Kanye because I'm telling you, they are super, super sick and super, super depraved. And this had nothing to do without Diddy. Kanye is being sued at the wazoo right now for doing sick things. And I don't mean wearing an all leather white or black KKK uniform. I mean like sick, sick things, right? Madeira said, thank you, Tisa. MAGA seems fine with sex traffickers.
Didn't I tell y'all that yesterday that they was swapping out
Listen,
sex workers?
First of all, right? I want to actually know listen, MAGA in the chat says that they would never let that go away with what's going on with Tanya. With what's going on, they would never let that get ahead. Again, it does make you wonder, listen, what's going on? Here's all I want to say, right? This Kanye showing up at the courthouse was to get the support of the very, very depraved. However, you gotta wonder, right? You gotta actually wonder why that would. Because Diddy needs somebody with integrity. He needs somebody that's respected. He needs somebody to basically share their good public persona with him, because right now he's the devil incarnate. The fact that you had someone that everybody knows is a universal dirtbag and sleazebag come out and support you, and a proud universal dirtbag or slave. They're trying to make dirtbag and sleazebag behavior mainstream. To me, it just doesn't really make any sense. But at the end of the day, maybe that is the only people that would actually go out and support Diddy. You know, it's the only people that would actually go out and support Diddy. In any case, right? Listen, Maureen Comey literally said you need to stop doing that. Verse 6 is going to be decided tonight, but I just thought that I would actually bring up the fact, also KK cell phones and all this stuff. There was text messages that were exchanged where they're like, you better tell Robin to stop acting stupid and pay Jane Doe's rent. It's kind of proving that they were trying to keep Jane Doe close, all right? Big G said, hey, Tisa, what about Jane calling him a PD? and the prosecutors didn't ask anything about that. No, so they did. On the stand, she called him a PDF file. Jane said she did that because he was talking to a girl that was 27 years his junior, and she said if she can't buy her own drinks, then she's a baby, and you're sick for that. So she did say that the girl was over 18, but she still found it disgusting, as do I, that somebody 27 years older than a little girl that can't even buy her drinks is charged to do that. So that's what it is, right? That's what it is. Listen, that's what it is.
Double tap your screen, please.
At the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, I do want to say this. Actually, no. What Kanye was doing was breaking the law. This lifestyle is breaking the law. When did we come so jaded in America that we forget that having hookers, beating women up, beating people up, subjecting people to your sick, twisted, painful fantasies, making people have sex without protection, abusing their bodies, literally forcing rugs down people's throat? You guys, it's illegal. I don't know what is going on in American society, but have we forgotten that everything we talked about is illegal? Peanut Butter Kissable is saying Ye is scared because he's next, trying to sway the jury. Yeah, he might be. But again, if a dirtbag shows up to support another dirtbag, I mean, that makes you look like more dirtbaggish, but maybe that's me. Ralph Allen, thank you so much for the super chat. Renee Blue said Trump is worried about terrorists, World War III, not a sick perv. It's too far gone and too late. Diddy couldn't get Jay-Z, so he's desperate using Ye. I guess that I would not let Ye around me if I'm trying to rehab my image. He is the worst person for that. He can't even rehab his own image. He's like, what the hell? But again, this shows the sick desperation. This shows the sick desperation of many, many, many
I think
people. This shows the sick desperation. The sick,
who is next? Jay-Z or Kanye?
In any case, you guys, listen. Thank y'all so much. Thank you for listening to me rant. I do want to say anything. This has given me, just even me showing joy for almost getting an exclusive that every media place was dying. I beat out 40, 50 seasoned reporters that I did with my little iPhone camera on YouTube. And that joy I was experiencing from a professional win was
shout out to
into something sick. I really do have so much more respect for these women that came out and the way they're testifying against Diddy, you know? Misha Perut said they are on the same drug, two peas in a pod. Exactly. Anyway, you guys, thank y'all so much. Don't forget, 7 p.m. today on Spoutable. It's going to be a town hall. Everybody, please come talk. Listen, we'll talk. I'll answer any questions you want. And we're going to have a town hall meeting. But I guarantee you, one thing that is true is the prosecution is finished. All right? Anyway, right? Anyway, you guys, listen, I love you all dearly, and I will talk to you later. I'll be back down probably in a...
Let's see what's next. Oh, here they go. What they saying? Let's see what they saying. Kanye. It's a circus, y'all. It is a circus. Didn't I tell y'all that they were swapping out sex workers yesterday? I told y'all that.
The rapper arrived with one of Combs' sons and told ABC News he was... And Kanye West briefly made an appearance in the Sean Diddy Combs trial today. The rapper arrived with one of Combs' sons and told ABC News he was there to support Combs. He was not in the main courtroom and left about 20 minutes after arriving. Combs' personal assistant is testifying now under an immunity deal. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges. His defense team says any sexual encounters were consensual. ABC's Rena Roy and legal contributor, criminal defense attorney Shauna Lloyd are outside that court. So, Rena, what's the latest here?
Yeah, well, Diane, I can tell you that we saw Kanye West walk into the courthouse here right behind us this morning, and our team got a chance to ask him, are you here in support of Combs? He nodded his head. He said yes. He then dropped off his electronics like all of us have to do going into federal court. He went into an overflow room to watch a little bit of testimony. He was just there for about 10 minutes before he then left. And interestingly, his arrival comes just a day after we heard from Jane. She was on the stand for days, an ex-girlfriend of Combs, and she talked about a trip to Las Vegas with a famous rapper. She said that he's a friend of hers and that he flew her out to Vegas, and that when they were there, They were in a hotel room together, and about 6 to 8 people watched an escort named Anton have sex with another woman. And in her cross-examination, she told the jury that she knows Anton because she had sex with him in front of Combs. And she said that she flashed her breasts and danced for everyone. So the defense there was trying to show that she acted on her own accord without Combs in that room. Now, we don't know exactly who that rapper was, but definitely interesting timing here, Diane.
And Shauna, prosecutors say they'll rest their case next week. So what are you watching for as they call their last witnesses now?
So as they call their last witnesses, what I'm expecting to see is that they're going to testify more towards the RICO charges. This is the assistant who can actually tie together everything that's happened to show that this was an organization and that it was used to further criminal enterprise, if he has that information. And that's what I expect to see from the prosecution.
All right, Rena Roy, Shauna Lloyd, thank you both. And for more on the Combs
Thank you, Miguel.
live show, Burden of Proof, the case against Diddy every night at 5:30 p.m.
Let's go over here.
Welcome to TMZ Live. Charles here.
Alex Michelson filling in for Harvey here from Fox 11 Los Angeles.
Indeed. Thanks for being here again. And the Diddy trial taking a turn now because Jane is still on this witness stand. Jane is the ex-girlfriend testifying under that pseudonym. But she is talking about a moment where it certainly sounds like Diddy was absolutely desperate and sort of circling the wagons. This was just a couple of days after Cassie had filed her lawsuit, and we know that the very next day he reached a settlement with her for $20 million. But after that lawsuit was filed, it seems clear now from what you're about to hear that he was worried about the other women in his life and what they might be saying to law enforcement. So this was a phone call. This came up in court.
Hi, Joe. Hi, Sonia.
The transcript of a conversation between Diddy and Jane 3 days after Cassie filed her lawsuit. And just listen to the tone of what he was saying. He says, talking to Jane, "Hey, I really need your friendship right now. And that's it. I can't even talk on the phone. Like, please don't send no texts or do nothing. People misread it and blank. I don't know what the blank." And he added, "My love is definitely true." You know what I'm saying? We just into some kinky blank that I thought we both, enjoy. And Jane only responds with a mm-hmm. And the reason she's so hesitant, she's read the entire lawsuit and is definitely feeling some sort of way about this, knowing she's been in a relationship with him this whole time as well. And this is what she eventually says to him: "I've been crying for like 3 days. I can't even sleep." Like, just reading all that, it's just so like word for word. Like, word for word is crazy to me. Like, it just feels sick in my soul, So he's concerned that she's going to talk to a lawyer, right, or even worse, law enforcement, and she is just like, now she's seeing this other side of the mirror. Like, she knew about Cassie, obviously, right, but didn't realize what had happened, pattern, and right, yeah, didn't realize the violence that was going on, that had gone on in that relationship. So for her, this was really shocking. Remember, she had been through a violent incident with him where he was chasing her, and she testified about him kicking in a door and chasing her. So for Jane, this was
emergencies can strike at any time. That's why it's crucial to be prepared.
And chasing her. So for Jane, this was clearly a moment where she was going, "What are we doing?" And she testified they went on a break after that.
And interesting, his first instinct is basically like, don't say anything.
Right. Everyone's got to be quiet.
And so this whole time, Jane is testifying that she kind of felt like the secret, that he wanted to hide her and just have these hotel nights with her and didn't get the same treatment that these other more public girlfriends were getting. But she said today that, after the Cassie lawsuit, he started acting way more loving, way more affectionate, and that their relationship actually began to grow. So I think it's just super obvious here what Diddy was trying to do and kind of laid the groundwork for, oh no, I'm in this healthy, committed relationship and like we're good, right?
Yet they did go on a bit of a break, right? From December until her birthday in February of
Correct.
24.
And then they reconciled in February. Yeah, correct.
So she's still on the stand today, Janet, and still under cross-examination. What's the latest that she's been testifying about?
So today she testified. They started with an event that happened in January of 2024. And actually, this morning, the prosecutors, the defense, and Jane's attorney were in the room for over an hour before court even began. And they were arguing about whether or not the people involved in this January 2024 Vegas trip should be named publicly or not. And this involves Jane's previous testimony about an unnamed and his partner, and that she went to Vegas with this group of people, including and that she walked into the hotel room, and one of the escorts that her Diddy had previously was there having sex with a woman, and everyone was watching. So Jane testified about that and said that this is an icon in the music industry, someone that was close with Diddy. But yeah, there's a lot of back and forth today about whether or not those people should be named publicly.
Right, and as of this point, they've said they're not going to name them, but certainly you have her on the stand saying there's an icon in the music industry.
Do we have any guesses?
Well, we're not going to do that. we're not going to do that because we don't want to get in trouble. Yeah. But Diddy's lawyers on cross-examination have really shown that at times Jane was very much into this, right? And now you have her testifying today that there were other people in the music industry that either knew or picked up on this vibe. So is she damaging to the prosecution's case here? Because if she's in it willingly,
and is it coercion if she's a part of it? And we talked about earlier this week that she sort of incentivized him. If you want to be back with me, you're going to I can give you more freak off sort of thing.
I just wonder how this is all playing for the prosecution and playing most importantly for the jury. Joining us now to discuss this, someone who's been following the trial just as closely as we have, Teray.
Is this from yesterday?
Music journalist, and also as his Substack Culture Fries, and he is joining us right now. Teray, welcome back, man.
Thanks.
What do you make of Jane this week? She has been the star witness, had been a witness. She was called as a witness for prosecution, but I'm wondering how the prosecutors are feeling.
Several aspects of the Jane story right now are very interesting to me. She does, or let's say Tenny Garagos, give her credit, does seem to elicit Jane numerous times saying she liked it or she accepted it or she was okay with it. There was a story about a very gracious birthday party, a very generous birthday party for her. And she said after that, I felt like doing it for him to give him something in return. Now, she has already noted that she knew what her responsibilities were within the relationship. And as we've noted in this segment already, the government is hot on the notion that Diddy was feeding her and others messages knowing that he would be in this situation later. So the love bombing that happens after the Cassie lawsuit drops should perhaps be reconsidered as like that they didn't actually enter into a healthy relationship. He was just performing that in hopes that later it would be believed that they were in one. But she does say that we were in the lifestyle, that others may have even thought that we were in the lifestyle. And that is something the defense and perhaps the jury can cling to as saying, wait a minute, how can we say it's coercion when you're like, hey, we're swingers, we're in the lifestyle? Yeah, right. And it wasn't exactly a secret that Diddy was into some maybe freaky stuff. Even for the general public, that wasn't exactly a total secret.
It was one of those, things that people sort of buzzed about, but now we're hearing all the details in this case.
But the buzzing today, Charles, is who is that other rapper, right? And as far as a legal matter, it doesn't matter. But in the internet streets, we want to know who is that other rapper, who is married, icon, who would have a wife, who would be willing to do this sort of stuff
on behalf of.
I think it's somebody who's been on your show.
Of the female.
I think that there are internet sleuths who are figuring all of this out.
Let's say this. Oh, it's more to this.
And I'm sure you can find them on their guesses that we are not mentioning here.
You said when Diddy is calling her and saying, hey, we were into some kinky, right? He's telling her what to think. So he understands. We should understand. He has a guilty conscience in that he knows he has done something wrong.
When
and
he
he's
asked
telling her,
that,
right? We was walking
Paul,
out of the bank together. We didn't take any money, right? Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we don't hear that.
Yeah. So bottom line, we it's clear that Diddy may not be the greatest person of all time, but the big question at the end of the day for the jury is, did he commit the crimes that they're alleged?
Did he sex traffic?
What do you think so far, based off of what you've seen?
I mean, Harvey and I have argued about this a little bit on this show. I see the government's case, absolutely. I see that there are employees of Diddy's who...
Absolutely. Absolutely, there are employees. And let me say this for the record. Just for the record. For the record. For the record. When he asked Paul, when he got Paul on the phone, that recording that we heard yesterday, he asked Paul to call her and persuade her to continue with the freak offs, with the hotel stays. That's coercion. That was on the recording. He called Paul, the one that she liked, and said, man, you got to help me. I need your help. You got to persuade her to continue. That means, one, she didn't want to. You were trying to force her. It wasn't working. And then you called somebody that's a worker to ask them to help you persuade her. That's coercion. Whether she had been a willing participant, whether she was okay with it before and changed her mind, she was stopping, she didn't want to do it, she was feeling some type of way, she thought that this was just something special I was doing for you, she thought she was proving herself to you, she didn't know that this was really a lifestyle in your head, that you had a sick fetish. A sick fetish, right? Right? So she's not wanting to do it. I need you to help me persuade her. Period. That's coercion, y'all. That's racketeering. And we can play dumb. They can leave that part out. They can talk around it. That's on recording. And that was the last thing they heard yesterday was leaving. It's bombshell. Do y'all need to hear one of the people that was in there who heard it? I don't know how much total he paid her, Pamela, but since she's been away from him and making her own money, she's making 50 grand a month. So whatever amount that he was paying her outside of their contract, $100,000, or she'd make that in 3 months. But she was doing it because she thought that she was connecting with her boyfriend. She thought that she was the only one. She thought she was proving her love. Yes, it is. When somebody tries to convince, yes, that is. That is coercion. She didn't want to do it. He called Paul, a XXX worker that she was fond of, she was cool with, and said, I need your help. I need for you to help me persuade her to break the law. To break the law. Don't take that part out, Robert, because what he was wanting Paul to help him do is illegal. Have you lost your mind? Are you sick in the head? You one of them slow bunnies. We're not talking about the bigger crime, but that's what that is. Stop minimizing it. So when somebody force you to do something, Patricia, when they trick you into it, I want you to remember that you didn't think it was coercion. So I won't be in support of you. I'm going to say that's what she wanted. Stop. Y'all sick in the head. What's wrong with y'all people? You cannot persuade somebody to break the law. I don't care how much money you pay them. That's like a boss. You get paid to do a job. But the minute they pull you in an office or call you and tell you I need you to help me break the law. I need for you to convince me to ask her to continue to break the law. That's an enterprise, and that's coercion. And force, because she said she didn't want to do it. Now you're trying to trick her. Come on, y'all ignorant. Y'all not just slow, that's ignorant, ain't it? So with somebody, this is what happens. Y'all justify the predator. That's why people don't like coming forward when they've been violated, lied and manipulated on, trafficked. Because people are going to find something wrong with them. What did you have on? Well, what did you say? So why did you moan? Was you moaning when he was having sex? What was you saying? Was you putting your hips into it? Or was you just laying there? I mean, y'all find all type of reasons to validate a predator. Okay, Robert, then leave. Then leave. What you here for then? What you here for? You need some help? Let me help you out. Let me remove you. Come back another day when you got your head on right. When you got your head on right. You put the definition of coercion in the comments. You prove it. I know what it is. You young and dumb. I ain't. Okay? Let's move on to the next one. Because I don't feel like, embarrassing you. Proving you wrong. Get on out of here. Y'all ready? Let's go to the next one. I ain't finna play with these retarded people.
He's there to support Sean Combs. I think we have some footage of that.
I'm going to put down my brother and sister and whoever else that are manipulating people, tricking people. I don't care if they get paid or not. I don't care. But let it be y'all family member. Y'all have everything in the world to say they didn't want you.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Jesse Weber, and welcome to our continued live coverage of the Sean Diddy Combs criminal trial at a federal court in New York. My gosh, what a day it has been. Do you want to talk about the fact that Kanye West showed up at this courthouse earlier today for about 40 minutes, reportedly told someone outside that he was there to support Sean Combs? I think we have some footage of that, him arriving at the courthouse. Quite the scene, to say the least. How about the fact that Jonathan Perez has taken the stand, another former assistant? Testifying, he was granted immunity, personal assistant.
I showed you that earlier. I showed this
2024, and was tasked with all sorts of activities, but most importantly for this case, required to set up and clean up these these King nights. Also, you could imagine they're called freak-offs or these debauchery nights, as explained by Jane, but basically had said that he was there to set up the rooms and clean them up, and this could take anywhere from 2 hours notice to a full day's notice for these assistants to set everything up. And again, if you take the prosecution's narrative, these are essentially crime scenes. They're scenes of sex trafficking, scenes where Jane, alleged victim 2 in this case, was forced to participate in sex acts with commercial sex workers. I'll give you this exchange that happened in court. And by the way,
and that's what Paul was.
Christina Quorum, Sean Combs' chief of staff, who by all accounts is not going to be testifying in this case. So he was asked by the prosecutor, Mr. Perez, is this your text message? And Perez says, yes, it's me, KK, and Joey. KK asks, how is the setup going? How much longer do you all need? What did you write back? I wrote, I got fruits and shakes, and we'll ask Jane about outfits. Then KK asks, is the room done yet? How did you respond? I wrote, room is done, now going to the store. What store? Adult store. Afterward, KK asks about the cleanup. Of what?
Hi, my name is Scott Nido, and I spent over 20...
And by the way, this is not to take away from what happened at the beginning of the day, because we had a special agent from Homeland Security who specializes in human trafficking, who was actually one of the agents part of the raid of Sean Combs' LA property. The amount of weapons that were found in Sean Combs' residence, which became a thing between the prosecution and the defense before the jury was even brought in about what they would hear about the guns, it is something, to say the least. You are talking about a large amount of ammunition, drums, you're talking about armor-piercing rounds. The question becomes is, why would Sean Combs need this amount of firepower? And does it not lend into the narrative put forward by the prosecution that they're trying to say he's the leader of a criminal organization, that he's essentially a mafia boss? So there is a lot to break down. We're going to be taking your questions for the next hour and a half or so. I'm going to be joined right now by Joe Richardson, civil rights attorney, and also Tyler Bailey, criminal defense civil rights attorney. Gentlemen, great to have you both here. Also, by the way, that he's essentially a mafia boss. So there is a lot to break down. We're going to be taking your questions for an hour and a half. I'm going to be joined right now by Joe Richardson, civil rights attorney, and also Tyler Bailey, criminal defense attorney, civil rights attorney. Gentlemen, great to have you both here. Also, by the way, we're waiting for Elizabeth Milner to come out during a courtroom break. We'll talk to her about what's been happening in that courtroom. But gentlemen, great to see you. We have a lot of questions coming in. A lot about Kanye. By the way, getting some playback in my ear, just want to let you guys know. Okay, let me go to you, Tyler. This is from Denise Lopez. Talk about courtroom theatrics. Was this all necessary, Kanye? I mean, he showed up for 40 minutes. What do you think about this?
You know, he wanted to show up to support Mr. Combs, but if I was on Mr. Combs' defense team, I would not want him showing up during this trial. The problem is that if jurors know Kanye West, who's a world-renowned star, they could have strong feelings about him, whether those feelings are positive or negative, and those could lend towards their feelings about Mr. Combs. I want the attention to be on these witnesses and what the defense is trying to do on cross-examination. Was not necessary, but maybe Mr. Combs appreciated a celebrity of his stature there on the record showing that he has his back.
And curious to know if the jury saw him. That's a question I'll ask for Elizabeth. I got an update from court. This is really interesting. So apparently they seized Christina Quorum's cell phone during the course of this investigation, possibly during the raids, or maybe it was during the September arrest. And I have to get confirmation about that. But they were able to get her phone. And they're offering audio and transcripts for the jury. Prosecutor asked Ms. Perez, whose voice did you hear, Mr. Perez? KK's, meaning Christina Quorum. The audio of KK is both time, the only person at the house who knew about it was you. Where did you find it? This is again audio of KK. Perez said, Brandon, the shooter. Prosecutor asked, was that you? Yes, and he's the videographer. Perez says, Brandon was like, something's on the iPad I shouldn't see. I start, KK says, was there anyone else in the theater? And then Perez says, maybe Gio. Not really sure what the audio is. It's interesting to see this and hear this audio, because there was also important text messages that were played that were entered into evidence as well during the course of this case. You know, let me ask you your opinion about this, because Joe, a big question we keep getting is, why isn't KK being called to the stand? And if you listen to the prosecution about their upcoming witnesses, I didn't hear KK. So we get this question from Von Boogie 93. Why haven't D-Rock, Sean Combs' former bodyguard or security officer, why haven't D-Rock been called to the stand, and KK, two names that have been called through this whole trial? Why wouldn't they be called as witnesses?
Sounds like to me that from a prosecution standpoint, for some reason or another, they're not going to be held as helpful as they need to be. Now, that's a little bit of a problem, I think, because KK figures so prominently. In D-Rock, they talk about them all the time. And so I am assuming that they're not in the lost and can't be found category like victim number 3, right? That's my assumption, and I'm putting that to the side. So on some level, they might think that it's not potentially helpful. And here's the needle that I really want to thread here. The idea that maybe KK's testimony and or D-Rock's testimony makes it more clear that either they don't know, okay, which would be interesting given the positions that they stand in, or that somehow could it make it more clear that they ought to be co-conspirators if there's going to be a conspiracy. I'm not sure I can get my head around exactly why they're not getting on, but on some level, the prosecution would be moving heaven and earth if they were helpful and not a distraction for the jury. So that's all I can take from it. Somehow they're not going to be helpful. Either they are going to make them wonder why this prosecution is happening at all, or maybe they just don't bring anything the way that they ought to. But somehow they must believe that they're going to take the jury off track.
So again, it's difficult from the reporting to understand what this audio of Christina Coram is, but I'm just going to read you what the reporting of it is. So this audio, it appears Christina Coram says, "We have camera footage of who was in the house." Perez says, "I went to PD about it, said, you can delete it. He said, okay, and deleted it. Then I told you." She asks, "Did you hear anyone else in the house talk about it? Did anyone else ever bring it up again?" Perez says, "No." Perez says, "Rob talked about it, but he said he didn't want to see it." Prosecutor asks, "Why did you not want to delete it?" Perez says, "It wasn't my role." You go back to the audio recording. Perez says, "There should be an investigation. Mr. Combs thought he might be compromised in some way. His phone data." This all goes, right? By the way, let me read some of the messages here. I'm going to ask you 2 questions here, Tyler. A, the audio that you're hearing and the text messages I'm about to read that were entered into evidence, this all goes to racketeering, right? I think the inner circle who were allegedly a part of this criminal operation, setting up things, committing crimes, covering them up. That's the allegation. Also, I want to ask you, so your opinion on this, but also, how is it this can be introduced into evidence if you don't call Christina Coram? I'm curious about that. Let me read you some messages. So a message was entered into evidence before anybody was even called to the stand. There was this text message from Combs to Christina Coram. "Make sure Robin is not doing anything dumb, like not having that rent paid on time. Can you make sure she paid for this month, please?" Now that seems to be in reference to Jane, the idea that he was paying her rent. Important for the prosecution to say he had financial control over her, a form of coercion maybe, for sex trafficking purposes. And then listen to this exchange between Cassie Ventura and D-Rock from January 2017, where she messages him, "My bathroom door is broken down. He's blaming me for going to someone else's house when I pulled over to see if I was being followed, and I was. He has my key, so I'm leaving. I do not feel safe. I'm not bleeping with anyone else." And she messaged him that her doors were broken. D-Rock responds to her, "You know I can't take your keys from him. He's here. He is here. You are there. I think that's the best thing for now." 2 questions. How is this being introduced into evidence? Don't you need somebody to authenticate it? Don't you need the witnesses? Don't you need D-Rock? Don't you need KK to testify or no? And B, what do you think the value of this is?
Well, I think it's highly valuable. It goes to the racketeering charges that we just discussed. It shows that there's an enterprise, that they're providing assistance to Mr. Combs. We have a high-level assistant who worked for Mr. Combs for 3 years.
Yep.
We had those text messages regarding KK and him talking about going to the store, the adult store, setting up the room. Is it done yet? That goes to the racketeering charges. So it's valuable for the prosecution to introduce these text messages. But the question concerning how are they introducing these text messages without authenticating them through a witness? We did hear some facts earlier regarding there being 3 people on the text message, with KK, Perez, and I believe there's another individual on there. I could see how it's getting introduced through Mr. Perez being on the stand. But the text message between Cassie and D-Rock, unless this was a piece of evidence that was authenticated earlier in the trial when Ms. Ventura was on the stand, it seems odd that the defense is objecting to this being introduced.
It might have been. It might have been when she was on the stand. By the way, the jury is now seeing these messages that Perez had sent to Combs and Jane. So I think it's August 12th, 2023. Just left 2 candles and room phone in front of room door. I'm only 9 minutes away if you all need anything. There's another conversation, I think from May 2023. Courtroom had asked another assistant how the cleanup was going. Slipped and fell twice. Was that because of all maybe the oil or spoils that were there? This is interesting, Joe, right? This goes to many factors. This goes to not only the assistant's alleged role, but doesn't it also go to Jane, right? That she was aware or was a part of the setup. The question becomes, was she a willing participant or was she a victim? When you read these messages, what do you think?
We keep coming back to this whole idea that maybe Jane is a little bit more willing than one would like to acknowledge, and so much so where it puts, her being coerced, her not being voluntary, into this questionable box in terms of supporting, for instance, coercion, the force, fraud, or coercion that you would need for the trafficking. So we keep coming back to this, right, Jesse? We talk about this all the time, and that's because it's pretty relevant in terms of understanding where Jane stands on all of this. If there's gray area where it can be interpreted one way or the other, right, then the prosecution has a problem. It needs to be crystal clear that Jane is not going along with this as it pertains to everything you're trying to prove, whether you're talking about the sex trafficking or whether you're talking about the underlying crimes for purposes of racketeering. So we kind of keep coming back to this, and every time that happens, it ends up being a potential problem, and we're still in the prosecution's case.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. We're still in the prosecution's case. We don't know exactly who else they may be planning to call. That I think they might have more people on their witness list that they don't actually intend to call, and we have no idea who the defense is going to call at this point. By the way, we've got a little bit more context about this recording that I'm talking about. So apparently, this was a recording that Christina Courtroom, had taken of Perez without his knowledge. And Perez had apparently found a video of Jane, alleged victim 2 in this case, with another man engaging in sex acts. And then 6 months later, Courtroom had questioned Perez about the video, how it was found, and she told Perez that she got a call from someone outside the company talking about or referencing this video. So we go back to the questioning of Mr. Perez. Again, he's on the stand. Prosecutor says, let's pull up the next one for the jury. So now you have this audio tape of Perez saying, I told Rob I found something private on the iPad. He said he didn't want to know. KK responds, was anyone else in the theater except you all and Gio? Perez says no. And then the prosecutor asks Perez, was Chef K in the theater? Perez says yes. Okay, this goes to another question here. I'll go to you, Tyler. This is from Amanda Tavares. Can they add KK as an unindicted co-conspirator? I mean, isn't that a fair question? He's charged with racketeering conspiracy, and yet he's the only one charged in a conspiracy. Doesn't there need to be someone else? Is it KK? Is the jury going to go back and be like, who did
Kevin Proctor, what does it have to do with the topic?
Activity? Was it KK?
Well, the more and more we're hearing, it sounds like KK was more intimately involved with the legal aspects of Mr. Combs' enterprise. The sex trafficking, providing assistance, coordinating assistance, setting up rooms. So I think it's very possible. She has not been called to the stand yet. We don't know to the extent that she has been granted some sort of immunity in providing evidence to the prosecution. But the more I'm hearing, it sounds like she could be indicted as a co-conspirator. She could be indicted under the sex trafficking, racketeering charges that Mr. Combs is faced with, because she sounds like she was really involved in this aspect. And she hasn't gotten on the stand yet. Now, she may get on the stand and testify that she has immunity. I think that would absolve her from any criminal liability, but it's still too early to tell. And it sounds
Beyonce and Kamala have to do with Kanye showing up.
They went on a lunch break.
Y'all stay on topic, please.
We're still breaking down what is happening in court in real time. We're also going to wait to get Elizabeth Milner up here. I'm very curious, A, what was it like to have
That's
Kanye
not what
West
we're
in that
talking
courtroom?
about over here. I'm sorry.
B,
and hit the like button and send a super chat, a super
There's one thing for me to read it to you. There's another thing to hear it. But there was just this one more update in court. The prosecutor asks Mr. Perez, why didn't you say Chef K was there? Perez says, I just wanted to minimize things. Did anyone ask you again? Yes, Fahim did. Asked me what happened when I found the video of Jane. Are you aware of how Fahim knew? No. All right, Joe, question from...
Thank you, Julia.
Supwhich you fam. Why can't the feds call character witnesses? There's so many people with negative experiences with Puff.
There's potential, staying in the 15,000-foot view, there's always potential. Typically speaking, you can't do character evidence anyway. Now, there is some such thing as Me Too evidence, right? And depending on which avenue you go through and how you do it, you might be able to get in some things related to that. And basically, that's kind of what you're doing here in terms of the victims that you're calling, right? But the fact of the matter is, typically, character evidence in and of itself is not necessarily going to come in. But even though it can come in through another way, character is put into evidence. You know, the things on the defense presentation, they may say, "Oh, he's a great guy. He would never do this," and now you do rebuttal evidence. You know, that type of thing. But typically, there's not going to be character evidence, as it were, from the feds, and in terms of negative character evidence, unless that's brought to issue later on.
Yeah, we'll see what the defense and who they call as well. I mentioned before what was found at his house in L.A. from Special Agent Andre Lamo. So I mentioned there was drugs, right? There was ketamine, presence of MDMA, baby oil, Astroglide, lingerie. But when you talk about the guns, they talked about a Ruger, a Glock, an AR-15 platform, 30-round magazines, shotgun, drum magazine, armor-piercing rounds. There was at least one weapon that didn't have a serial number, which may be important for the overall racketeering charge. But we got this question here, Tyler, a question from Never Be. The weapons found had body-piercing armor. Isn't that illegal in California? Will that become proof of RICO?
No, I believe this is from the house that was found in Florida.
This is actually from LA. This is from LA.
Okay. Well, I don't know the state law on those bullets, but there is a lot of popular gun culture in Los Angeles. These weapons were found at his house. You know, you do have a right to bear arms. He wasn't a felon at the time, or under indictment. And he was still allowed to have access to his firearms. I think he's coming in the case.
Not the one
makes him look
that
more
was
like
the fake.
Batman. You know, you already had testimony of him allegedly holding a woman over 17 stories upside down. You have the video that came in from the hotel. You have countless other allegations of him raping women and forcing women to engage in freak off. So adding the firearms just goes to the larger narrative of Mr. Combs being this illegal criminal actor that the government's trying to paint him out to be.
Trying to figure out how to sub.
Asked about Kanye West. Kanye West arrived at the courthouse to show his support.
Let me send the link.
Diddy was happy to see him. 69% say yes, 30% say no. Curious why people might think he wasn't happy to see him. Joe, got a question from MC. Hi, Jesse. This is my favorite channel covering this case. You're doing a fantastic job. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. If Diddy isn't convicted, is it possible that the government will investigate Christina Courtroom and reopen this case?
Probably not, because going after KK isn't as sexy. Going after somebody else isn't as sexy. They could have indicted and prosecuted other people in this case, okay? And they decided not to do it. So it's not going to be, I don't expect a, quote, reopened investigation. Whatever they had, they probably had enough to indict someone else, particularly because if you're alleging something that takes a conspiracy, C-O-N meaning with or together, that means there are unindicted co-conspirators. If you just chose not to prosecute them. So I believe this is their only go around, unless of course the jury hangs and they want to go after P. Diddy again. I don't believe that they're going to add anybody else unless they feel like they need to do that to get another shot at Diddy. I don't think they were going to do it separately, because if they were, they should have done it already.
Tyler, interesting question from Naturally Now. So it came out yesterday that after Jane finished her testimony, and I think we have some courtroom sketches of this, she hugged Tenny Garagos, the defense attorney, and I believe she also hugged the prosecutor in this case as well. I think Maureen Comey. The question from Naturally Now is, thanks so much for access to an expert panel and the great show. Thank you so much. What does it mean to the jury and us that Jane chatted or embraced defense when leaving the stand? What can we deduce from this, if anything? And I can't confirm if the jury saw this. I believe they might have seen it, but I can't confirm they saw it. Assuming they saw it, what do you think the effect is this going to be, though, Tyler? And what can we deduce from this, if anything?
I think the juror seeing her hug both sides, which is being reported, she hugged the prosecution and the defense. I think it kind of more so humanizes her. I mean, she was on the stand for 24 hours. She also was subject to a pretty rigorous recross examination where she snapped back at the defense. And I think maybe her hugging the defense lawyer there, humanizes her and shows that she was trying to defense. No, I know maybe you were doing your job, hugging the prosecutors as well, saying that they were doing their job as well of eliciting the testimony that she gave. And I think it just really, because she hugged both sides, I think just makes her look more of a sympathetic witness, because her testimony is very complex and nuanced on either side, whether you believe that she was forced to engage in these freak-offs, or if you believe that she was a willing participant for the benefits that she allegedly received.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break. Why? Because Elizabeth Milner is going to come up. I want to know what it was like to have Kanye in that courtroom. As I said, I want to know what these audio tapes actually sound like. What is she getting from them? There's a lot we need to break down. Friday, always the busiest day on Friday, isn't it? So we got more great questions coming in, got a great panel. Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this.
While we're waiting on that, let's listen to this. Get my lights up.
Homeland Security agents that helped raid Diddy's LA mansion. Homeland Security agent Andre Lamont testifies against Diddy. He was one of the Homeland Security agents that helped raid Diddy's LA mansion, so let's get into it. Where do you work? Homeland Security in Los Angeles in the trafficking unit. Do you execute search warrants? Yes, 50 or 60 so far. Did you search 200 South Mapleton Drive in LA? Yes. Homeland Security in New York asked Homeland Security in LA to be involved. We executed the search warrant. Then they show an exhibit of Diddy's home in LA at 200 South Mapleton Drive. What are these other buildings? A sauna and a recording studio. What rooms were searched? All of them. It's a large property. I went through the objects that we seized and entered them in our case management system. We moved to enter into evidence these exhibits. And the government shows exhibits and says, what are these? The floor plans of 200 South Mapleton. How do you know they're accurate? I was there. How many manila envelopes were in the nightstand? 6. What was written on them? K. And then the government says, publish the stipulation. Testing determined that the K envelope with the shamrock on it was in fact the substance K. Then the government shows another exhibit and says, is there a safe in this closet? Yes, it's gray. They're in the photo. What was in the safe? A passport for Sean Combs in a plastic bag with substances in it. And the government shows another exhibit of testing of the substances that were in this bag, and the brown pebbles were MDMA. What's in this bag? Johnson & Johnson baby oil, Astroglide, and some outfits. Where else was Astroglide and baby oil found? In the bathroom, in the garage. Then they show the photos of the baby oil. And this photo shows a bookcase full of baby oil and a drawer full of Astroglide. Then they show another photo of boxes marked Astroglide, and there was about 24 boxes.
That's an addiction
altogether.
for real.
Where were these boxes of Astroglide? In the garage. Overall, how many bottles of baby oil did you find? 200. How many bottles of Astroglide in 200 South Mapleton? 900. Altogether, they found over 1,000.
Oh, he like Astroglide more than he like baby oil.
What are these? A Ruger, a Glock, and some AR-15 platforms. A garage. Overall, how many bottles of baby oil did you find? 200. How many bottles of Astroglide in 200 South
Hi,
Mapleton?
Tracy. Hi, Jennifer.
900. Altogether, they found over 1,000. Let's turn to the firearm found in the residence. What are these? A Ruger, a Glock, and some AR-15 platforms. Then they show another photo. What is this? The Smith & Wesson rifle on the chair. 3 30-round magazines. There was also a 5.11 bag. What's that? Just a bag. And this? Rifle Mossberg shotgun. And this? A drum mag. In 200 South Mapleton. In the garage. Overall, how many bottles of baby oil did you find? 200. How many bottles of Astroglide in 200 South Mapleton? 900. Altogether, they found over 1,000. Let's turn to the firearms found in the residence. What are these? A Ruger, a Glock, and some AR-15 platforms. Then they show another photo. What is this? The Smith & Wesson rifle on the chair. 3 30-round magazines. There was also a 5.11 bag. What's that? Just a bag. And this? Rifles and a Mossberg shotgun. And this? A drum magazine, large capacity. This one was a 60 round. It had 59 rounds of green tip ammunition in it. What does green tip ammunition do? It's designed to pierce body armor. You go look at the box of firearms in the cart next to you, and he gets off the stand and goes and looks at them. The serial numbers, where they existed, matched up. Did any of the firearms not have serial numbers? One did not. This one, and he holds it up. How are the serial numbers eliminated? Sanded off with a machine. It's smooth, not like it was done with the screwdriver. No further questions. And then it gets
that
redirected.
phone, I told y'all, pressure.
You're aware that Mr.
The gun is the issue.
Right? Yes. And every gun and piece of ammo was recovered from the security office, right? Yes. There were no weapons in the kid's bedroom? None. Was the security office door locked? Not when I got there. But before, isn't it important? Did it have a lock? It had a knob. A lock? I don't know. You had no reason to think that the safe was open before you got there? No. We brought a locksmith, but I didn't see him touch that safe. We're in Manhattan. We don't know a lot about guns. Sorry. And the judge said that that was withdrawn. This was a gun safe? It was designed for that. Why is there no photo of opening it? SRT goes in first. So because of this protocol, we don't have any photographs.
Hi, Jennifer, Trace,
so
and
Melissa.
Melissa.
Cam? No.
Jimmy.
In your trafficking work, have
And
you ever
Talita.
dealt with Astroglide before? Only in this case. Okay, and he starts laughing, and the judge says,
And
no comments,
Calderon.
please. So the baby oil was in the
Calderon.
garage? It was the Astroglide that was in the garage. You're from LA? Yes. No further questions. And this is the end of the Homeland Security agent that raided Diddy's LA mansion's testimony. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. Are you
When is she coming? Come on. Let's go. Get the likes up, like, share, subscribe, join the membership.
Everybody. So guns, King Nights, Kanye West, a lot has been happening inside and outside of the Sean Combs federal courthouse as he's facing charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Been quite the day. Want to bring on Law and Crime's in-court reporter, Elizabeth Milner, to answer all of your questions right now, and there are a lot. Elizabeth, it's good to see you. As you can imagine, a lot of questions about Kanye West. He showed up to that courtroom today. We know he is a friend of Sean Diddy Combs. He was even asked reportedly outside of court, is he there to support him? Yes. Let me begin with the first question we have from Danny. There might be a misconception here, so Elizabeth, set the record straight. Was Kanye in the courtroom or was he in the overflow room?
So it was kind of an interesting morning. We had a lot of rumblings just about whether or not Kanye West was here, whether he was actually here, because there was rumors yesterday that he was here too. But yes, I can confirm that he was here at the courthouse today. Now, as far as being inside the main courtroom, no, he was not inside the main courtroom. I did not see him in there. But at first I was thinking, okay, maybe he might come into the main courtroom because they cleared the floor. They being the marshals cleared the floor. So I thought maybe it was to bring him into the room, but that didn't happen. But I did hear that he was sent to the overflow room, and maybe that wasn't where he wanted to be today. And so what ended up happening was I think he was there for maybe 15, 20 minutes and then ended up leaving. So no, he was not in the main courtroom, but I did hear he was in the overflow room for just a little bit.
Yeah, so we got this question
So
from
he
Libby
wanted him to
E, any jury or court reaction to Kanye being there. So I'm glad you set the record straight because it wasn't entirely clear what was going on. Oh, we had this happen today too. Shopgirl asks, it was reported that Diddy was shaking his head again in court, during cross-examination. Did the judge admonish him once again, and did you observe any of that?
Yeah.
Well, I did, yes. I did observe him kind of nodding along with Mark Agnifilo, even towards the end of Mark Agnifilo's cross to the HSI investigator, or HSI agent, special agent, I should say. That I saw Diddy kind of give him an under-the-table thumbs up that I was able to see from my angle and my point of view. But afterwards, Maureen Comey kind of stands up. This is after the jury is dismissed for a break. And she said that her colleagues in the back of the courtroom who have a better view of Diddy because the sits in front of him, so they don't get a view of him, obviously because they're in front of him, but that the colleague had told Maureen Comey that Diddy was kind of nodding along with the cross-examination, and the judge was kind of like, he didn't admonish him necessarily. He was like, it's normal reaction for humans to kind of have this reaction, and I can't police every single reaction that the defendant is necessarily having. So it wasn't a stern talking to like it was the first time, but he said that if anything does happen again, he'll do the appropriate measures. But as far as Brian Steele kind of defending the defendant there, Brian Steele was kind of like, he's been nothing but professional. I'm sitting here right beside him every single day, and he's not
still no nodding your big ass head.
Turning to the jury, nodding at them. He tries to make sure he's abiding by the rules, not even looking at the jury when they enter and exit the courtroom today. And so it wasn't a tough talking to this time around, but I'm sure if something else were to happen and the judge notices something, that it might be a different type of talking to after that.
And if you just want to add to that, this is from Mary Baracco. How was Diddy today? How does he appear? How does his demeanor like?
Yeah, well, Diddy today, he was wearing his brown sweater, white undershirt, and khaki pants. As far as his demeanor goes today, I think maybe he was also possibly anticipating that Kanye West would be in the main courtroom, kind of show that level of support between friends. But he seemed kind of as usual, just, taking notes over at the defense table, speaking with his attorneys, nothing out of the normal as far as what we saw today in court. Definitely still participating in his own defense, taking all the testimony in, and then jotting appropriate notes down at the appropriate times too.
You got to explain to me what's going on with these audio tapes. I'm not sure I quite follow them, Elizabeth. We have these tapes of what appear to be Christina Coram speaking with Jonathan Perez. What do these tapes sound like? And by the way, isn't this the first time that we've actually heard the voice of Christina Coram? What is going on in these tapes?
Yeah, I think to me that was kind of the most surprising thing, not only she had recorded this conversation, but also because I'm like, wow, we've only seen her in photographs. Now we're hearing her actual voice. But Jesse, I do want to take a step back as far as why we were hearing that particular audio recording. And it had to do with Jane, because apparently staffers over at Diddy's home saw that there was this sexually explicit video on an iPad that normally the staff uses. And so there was kind of conversations had amongst the staff about how this was found, what do we do, that type of thing. So when Jonathan Perez was on the stand today, he was explaining that he didn't know that this conversation was recorded, but before even this recording happened, that he had spoken to Diddy about it personally. And now when Jonathan Perez is on the witness stand, he refers to Diddy as Mr. Combs or Mr. C. So he said that he spoke to Mr. C about this and then spoke to Christina Coram about this particular video recording. I should kind of specify. No, there's the audio recording of Christina Coram, but as far as the Jane recording of her with another man, Jonathan Perez said he spoke to both Mr. Combs and Christina Coram about it. So then the conversation is brought back up again weeks after this initial conversation was had. And so we did hear this audio recording from KK and Jonathan Perez. It was dated January 30th of 2023. And I tried to write down as much as I could because finally and thankfully we're able to see the exhibits. So we finally were able to see the transcript. So I was trying to write down as much as I could. But Christina Coram is kind of like, I don't know how to bring this up. Bring that Bosu ball over here and sit on it so that you aren't standing. It was brought to my attention last night. And tell me step by step what happened. An outside person brought it up. Did you talk to anybody about this particular recording of Jane? Now, she didn't say, Jane or anything like that, but did you talk to anybody? So then Jonathan was like, well, I didn't talk to anybody. Christina Coram is like, well, were you in the house? And then Christina Quorum said, where were you in the house? Jonathan said Brandon was there. He was talking about something on the iPad. Christina Quorum is like, okay, well, who was all in the house? We can check the cameras in the house. Jonathan is saying, well, I was just trying to saving him as far as Diddy specifically, so that way he could delete it. And then Jonathan said he didn't talk to anybody else about it. He said that Brendan wanted to tell Rob about this, said the advice was to initially just delete this video, but then Jonathan said he didn't want to delete this video in case something were to happen and it'd be brought back up, that type of thing. And so Diddy initially wanted to launch an investigation. Now, we didn't hear Diddy's voice on this audio recording, nor do we think that he was kind of even around when this recording took place. So really, we were just hearing the voices of Christina Quorum and Jonathan Perez in this particular tape. But Christina conveyed to Jonathan that Diddy wanted to launch this investigation and how it got onto the staff iPad. And so Jonathan believed that this video was recorded on the iPad, but then Christina asked if other people like Brandon might have told other people about this. Jonathan said that Brandon was actually freaking out about this particular explicit video. And Christina Quorum was like, well, was anybody else there? Think, the housekeepers, the chef. And Jonathan said that Chef K might have been around in the theater location when the staffers were kind of talking about this particular explicit video, but that Jonathan didn't relay to Christina Quorum that that Chef K was in the theater. He said he didn't want to make it a big thing. And so there were no follow-up conversations after these particular recordings were recorded, but the conversation was then brought to another person, another staffer, that being Cking, who is Diddy's driver, as well as kind of, I think he was the head of security, that he brought it up a couple weeks later after Christina Quorum brought it up. And then Jonathan said that he had told Cking pretty much the exact same story that he told in court, also that was reported on by Christina Quorum too.
Yeah, it's fascinating to hear this, and also wondering if she's not going to be called as a witness. Right now, there's no indication that she's going to be, which was a surprise to a lot of us following the case. We have a question here from Blessing Eek. Why was Diddy's son allowed to get to attend court yesterday wearing a Free Combs t-shirt? I thought that was against the court rules. Is that true, from what you know?
Yeah, and I saw this shirt myself, and we were all thinking, because I was sitting by another reporter, we were like, how is he allowed to be wearing this inside the courtroom when the jury is present? Now, I don't know if the jurors were able to see what the words were that were actually transcribed on this particular shirt, because it was like a black shirt with red letters that say Free Sean Combs, and then what Christian had over top of it was kind of this mesh top, and so I don't know if the jury was able to see those words, but what I did see was Marshall kind of go up to Christian Combs, look at his shirt, and I thought, okay, well, maybe she's going to tell him, take the shirt off, or you're going to have to change the shirt, change it inside out, similar to how Charlucci was when he was wearing his free puff shirts or free puff sweaters and hats, but that didn't happen, and so he was able to continue wearing this shirt, something that I thought was pretty surprising given just the amount of attention that is on this trial, but also because of what had happened weeks earlier when they had told another person who was wearing a free puff shirt to turn their sweatshirt inside out.
I want to go back to yesterday. We were talking earlier about how Jane apparently hugged both the defense attorney and prosecutor in this case before she left the courtroom. We got a question from Danny. Did Jane stare down Diddy when she got off the stand when she was going out there and giving hugs?
I didn't see that from my point of view, and I think even there was like a split second because everything kind of happened so fast where I like look down, then I look up, and all of a sudden I'm seeing Jane hugging Tinny Garagos, and Tinny's kind of just like sitting there a little still in that matter, but I didn't see her stare down Diddy necessarily. From what I saw for most of her testimony, she avoided eye contact with him at all times. That's why it was really surprising to see her hug his defense attorney as she was getting off the witness stand.
By the way, Elizabeth, there was some controversy at the beginning of the day regarding a juror. There was talk about whether or not this juror would even remain on the jury. What did we learn a little bit more about what the confusion was with the juror, what the issue was with the juror? We had a lot of questions, I think, during this week in our chat about it. So what happened with this juror?
Yeah, well, we learned a lot more as far as why this particular juror was kind of being questioned and why the government might possibly want this particular juror off of this case. But the judge was like, well, why don't we bring this juror out? We ask him some questions so that way we can possibly get to the bottom of everything. And so we can ask about possible deceit. And then the defense was like, well, I don't think we're at this point that we need to ask any more questions, because apparently they'd already been asking this particular juror questions twice already inside the robing room or the judge's chambers. And so the defense was like, you know, this is harmful. He didn't have deceitful responses on the questionnaire that he had submitted in order to even be on this particular jury. And the defense was like, I'm hesitant to raise the issue again because I think that we think that the juror might have believed that something was wrong, and we don't want to kind of single out this particular juror.
The poll is still up.
They said that they being the defense said we were concerned about his residency, and we figured it out. And so this is kind of a measure of good faith. And the government is saying, well, this issue is an issue, and they said that multiple things can't all be true at one time, and there's inconsistencies with this juror statement. And then the judge is kind of like, okay, well, maybe there's just an innocent explanation to all of this, and that there's just no basis, because the judge, after the defense was kind of like, oh, well, the prosecution just wants to dismiss another black juror, and the judge was kind of like, there is no basis that the government is being biased to try to dismiss this particular juror, and that the situation came up because the juror made a comment to the jury. The jury staff brought it to the judge's attention. So they say it's fair that the government would want to raise this particular issue. And so then the defense kind of had like a quick huddle to figure out how they wanted to proceed. And so the defense said that we considered calling this juror back, but they believe that it'll have that negative impact on the juror and just how they're treated amongst the other jury members too. It could impact deliberations going forward, and they feel like the juror would be singled out, and there's just no reason to question him further. And then the defense said they even spoke to Diddy about this particular thing, and that Diddy is totally fine with this juror still staying on, possibly to deliberate too, because this isn't an alternate juror. This is one of the main jurors. And so then there was a point the judge asked him, okay, do you waive something? And then Diddy, in his defense chair, is like, I waive. And so Diddy is completely fine with this. Then the judge kind of revealed a little bit more, and it has to do with this particular juror and their residency. And so the judge is like, well, he said he lived in the Bronx, and then the government said, well, the most prudent thing to do is ask this juror more questions. Specifically, does your employer require residency in New York? And then the defense chimed in. They're like, well, this is harassing the juror at this point. It's gone to a far field, and this suggestion would be pretty troubling. And so the government is like, well, I don't know why the defense is so adamant that we just ask this juror another question. And so the judge said, I'll review both sides' arguments, and then I'll make a decision later on. So as for now, every single juror is still there. Nobody has been dismissed. And so we did see that particular juror still in the jury box, still paying attention to all the testimony today.
When you're in Illinois, the fun comes in at full speed, and no adventure is...
Jesse, that juror thing this morning really confused me, so thank you, Elizabeth, for clarifying that. By the way, one more thing about Kanye West. It was reported that, yes, he did go to an overflow room on a different floor, reportedly sat next to Christian Combs, obviously one of Sean Combs' sons, and then left shortly thereafter. How's the jury doing? How are they reacting to today's testimony so far, Elizabeth?
Yeah, I think, for the most part, it's maybe, and this might have just been my interpretation, I think maybe it was kind of a slow start this morning. So, for example, there were exhibits that were entered into evidence. There was a bunch of stipulations, and they had heard testimony from Homeland Security Investigation Special Agent Andre Lamont. And then, it was kind of like maybe a slow start, but that just might be me as far as just why are we seeing these particular exhibit photos of baby oil and guns, and what does this all mean, and what does this particularly tie into? And then for the most part, even when Jonathan Perez had taken the witness stand too, I feel like they're still kind of engaged. They're still taking their notes down. They're still listening to all the testimony, but I haven't seen any kind of like overly emotional or crazy reactions from them today. They're all just kind of sitting in, doing their part and doing their civic duty.
What did you make of the testimony of the special agent and all the weapons and drugs and baby oil and Astroglide that was found at Sean Combs' LA property? I mean, to read it and hear about the arsenal, to hear about armor-piercing rounds, what did you see? What did you hear? What did you take away from it?
Well, I took all my notes down, especially because there were just a lot of exhibits that were shown.
All
so
your
we
notes?
saw an exhibit photo.
No way, Elizabeth. No way.
I did. I did. Yes. And I come into a color coordinated situation now. I'm not sure if y'all can see that, but we're in a system. We're in a system. We saw exhibits of Diddy's home in LA. We saw an angle from the front of the home, from the back of the home. We saw this detailed layout of the property, of the basement that wasn't shown. We saw the layout of the first floor of the home, the security room, and the security room is pretty important, and I'll explain why in just a second. The garage, the master bedroom, the closet. We saw exhibits of the master bedroom, a white bed, messy nightstands, 2 chairs kind of in the front of the bed. We saw inside the drawers of the nightstand, which had 6 manila envelopes with the letter K on it, and I was thinking, okay, what does this K represent? But the K, I think, possibly may translate to ketamine, because we saw that the residue that was inside these particular envelopes did test positive for ketamine. There were things that were like chargers and earrings, cell phones and iPads inside them. Then we saw baggies of drugs. We saw the iPad. We saw the closet that was opposite of the wall of the master room. There was a safe inside that closet. We saw Diddy's passport, or at least kind of a zoomed out version of Diddy's passport. We saw money in plastic bags, and then there was this one substance that kind of looked like paprika a little bit, but then turns out it was actually MDMA. We saw the exhibit photos of a lot of different baby oil and Astroglide and lingerie that was found in the closet. And this particular special agent, Andre Lamont, he testified that there were 200 bottles of baby oil that were seized from the LA property and 9 bottles of Astroglide that were seized. But I think the big kind of takeaway about this particular witness testifying was just about what was found in the security room, and that was a lot of the guns, a lot of the weapons, all of the guns for the most part, according to the defense, were found in that particular security room. And so there was a bolt action Ruger rifle, a Smith & Wesson rifle, a Glock. There were 3 30-round magazines, a magazine, 2 locks for a pistol holder, a 511 bag, and essentially the special agent was like, this is a bag to hold things, more drum magazines, bullets that were found, and this firearm safe. So then when the cross-examination came, and we got a little peek of why the defense kind of really focused on this particular security room, because they were really like, you're aware that Mr. Combs has a security team, right? And the special agent said yes. And then we see that exhibit photo again of the layout of home, where Mark Agnifilo points out this particular security room. And then Mark Agnifilo is like, well, you saw that the bedrooms where children live, correct? There were no ammunition in those bedrooms. The special agent said, correct. Was the security door open? Yes. Was the door locked beforehand? I don't know. Could you see it had a lock? Well, it had a doorknob, but I didn't look at the lock. And then Mark Agnifilo was like, well, you didn't take pictures of the state of the door when law enforcement arrived? And the special agent was like, well, I don't know. And Mark Agnifilo asked, was the safe open before law enforcement got there? He was like, I don't know. And so really the defense was kind of focusing on just this security room and just kind of how the government was portraying as like there were just guns all around this house where children live, whereas the defense was like, okay, it was confined to this specific room. Nobody took photos. Guys entered and kind of destroyed everything. And that was kind of the most part of the cross-examination for Andre Lamont today, really kind of focusing on the gun came about, why they were moved from one room to another, and just implying that there were just guns everywhere as opposed to them being specifically in the security room of Diddy's LA home.
It helps with the racketeering charge. It helps with the jury digest the idea of him as a leader of a criminal enterprise. I mean, having that much firepower is kind of interesting to talk about. Elizabeth, before I let you go, I have maybe the most important question of all. It's asked by Erica Charlotte. Elizabeth, how many notepads, notebooks have you filled so far?
I think I'm on, oh my goodness, I think I'm on at least 8 book, notebook 8 or 9.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going through a lot.
It's fun because when Elizabeth writes her tell-all book about covering Diddy trial, she's going to have all of her notes. Actually, Elizabeth's going to be so big at that point, she's going to have a ghostwriter going through all the notes, so it'll be fine. You'll just do the voiceover for the audiobook. Elizabeth, thank you so much. I know you have to come back to that courtroom.
Do y'all think that this was a win for Diddy today?
All right, so Elizabeth is going to be actually back with me when we do our daily sidebar recap about everything that happened in the court today. Clearly, a lot has already happened. Let me bring back in Tyler Bailey. Let me bring back in Joe Richardson. There's a lot to make up of this. A lot to try to make sense of it. We have more questions that are coming in. And Tyler, I'll start with you. This is a good question from Olivia E. Why was the defense opposed to bringing up gun possession? Isn't it relevant to proving a criminal enterprise? I mean, isn't that the point? Wouldn't that be why the defense doesn't want it in?
Right, of course. They don't want this evidence in. It doesn't make Mr. Combs look good. These firearms seem unnecessary unless he's involved in some illicit activity. And I think the government using it, though, is somewhat of an overreach. Outside of some of the testimony regarding firearms being used, there's no evidence that he's a gun trafficker or he's involved in organized crime associated with, enemies who would have this type of firepower. So I see the government using it to further their theme and view of Mr. Combs, but it doesn't seem to really land a punch to me.
We have an interesting poll that we put up, and it says, is there a viable strategy for the defense to mitigate Diddy's possession of 16 boxes of lubricant? 58% said no, 41% said yes. I mean, what do you think the defense strategy would be on that, Joe? Obviously, for the prosecution, it says this is just evidence of his sex trafficking pattern, right? Using these materials. It's evidence of freak-offs or wild night, or, king nights or debauchery nights, hotel nights, where he's forcing women into commercial sex acts. What's the defense's strategy there?
Anytime you have to use baby oil to help you prove a case, I think it's going to be a stretch for the jury. Can you theoretically say, yes, this suggests that he's in control of the freak-offs, this and that and the other, and that they occurred? It suggests what we already know. It suggests that he's freaky, they do what they do in the room, and the assistant has to come in and clean it up afterward. Okay, that's what it suggests. Like, do I look at this and say, oh my gosh, this is a criminal enterprise and he's a master criminal, etc. I don't think it gets to the heart of anything they're really trying to prove. And if it does, I think it's a little bit of a stretch because you want stronger evidence as it pertains to something that looks, smells, and sounds like criminal activity. The problem with baby oil is I can't believe I'm talking about baby oil. Baby oil reminds you that this doesn't seem like criminal activity, in some ways. It doesn't suggest this master criminal. It just suggests a freaky guy that has a lot of these trysts while his girlfriend is there. So I see why the prosecution might do that and why it's questioned that way, but I'd be real careful with it for that reason.
By the way, I want to share something real quick why the firearms might come into play. So when you look at the overall racketeering conspiracy charge, there's an underlying section that's called Means and Methods of the Enterprise. And you scroll down to it, and it says, members and associates of the Combs enterprise, including Combs' security personnel, at times carried firearms. On more than one occasion, Combs himself carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten others, including victims of and witnesses to his abuse. In or about March of 2024, during searches of Combs' residences in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California, law enforcement seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with the face serial numbers, as well as a drum magazine. So, I mean, Tyler, they're basically trying to prove what they alleged in the indictment.
Hi, Betty. Hi, Richard.
Of the RICO case. I do have a question for you, Tyler, about this. We believe that a summary witness is going to be called by the prosecution, potentially their last witness. My understanding is a summary witness literally looks at this voluminous amount of material, whether it's text messages, digital evidence, and literally summarizes it for the jury. Am I understanding it correctly? Why would they have that person? Is this for the racketeering case? Maybe it's a situation where they can't just call 100 witnesses when there's so much material. What is a summary witness in this kind of case?
Yeah, a summary witness is exactly what you said. It's a witness to kind of bring everything all home for the government's case or whoever was presenting the case. So here with the government, the prosecution, they'll probably want to call one of the lead agents, who was over the investigation, and maybe one or two, because you do have evidence that was collected in different states. And they'll be able to summarize their investigation, witnesses they spoke to, the evidence that they've seen so far in the trial that's been admitted to this case. Because this has been, we're on day 20 now. It's been a long trial, and the defense is going to present their case next, ideally. And so you'll need the government to summarize. Yeah, they'll summarize everything for this jury as they close their case.
By the way, Tyler, you're a fan favorite. Ready for this? We got a question from PC. Tyler, great beard. What's the secret? And then you got one from Erica Charlotte. Can you tell Tyler I said hi? I'm a fan. He's looking especially fine today. Thanks. I mean, any comment? How do you feel about it? Oh, not now. Yeah, dude, that doesn't look good.
No comment. I'll say this feels good to be in the same light as Elizabeth. She's the real star here, right? Not me. You and Elizabeth. Y'all the stars.
There you go. All right, Joe, I love you too, but I don't have any.
Thanks. I appreciate it. It is what it is.
We still got 15, 20 minutes. Okay, I do have a question for you. I got a question for you from Rashik Williams. The evidence I hear, the evidence I see and hear about so far, where are they going with this right now? Why now they only call up the former bodyguard to testify against him and speak some of the real truth about Diddy? So you're seeing, look, I think this is a fair question. And I think it's a question that you wonder, what are the jurors thinking, right? First of all, we have the benefit every day of breaking down this evidence, tying it all together. Who knows what the jury's thinking? Assuming, and hopefully they're not looking at or researching this case and trying to look up racketeering and how it all fits together. You don't know what the jury might be thinking, but do you think the jury might be saying, why aren't they calling certain people? Why are they structuring the case like this? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm having to order my lunch so that we can get this tea. Can y'all send me a cash app or super chat or something to help me with lunch today?
Together after closing, right? So they come in, close, they loop it all together, take what's potentially very complicated, make it simple in a way that translates well to somebody
I just spent
who can then translate it to other people.
$69 for lunch.
And
lunch and dinner.
One of our biggest points. Anytime you have a long trial, from prosecution standpoint, I think it's potentially complicated anyway. That's why it's so long. But that being said, can it be made and be simplified where you would effectively have, I call them an advocate. They're supposed to be objective and put things together, but somebody in the jury room that can connect the dots and answer the questions about what people don't understand, because there's a potential that you lose them for a while if it doesn't come together right away.
Okay, y'all, hit the like button. I just had to order my lunch. Can y'all send a super chat, super sticker to AunTeaFee Cash App, $AUNTEAFEE. Support me, please. Is that okay? Can we do that? $AUNTEAFEE. Come on, y'all. Contribute to my lunch. I can't leave and go and get nothing because I'm bringing the tea with AunTeaFee. Let's go. And double tap your screen. Get the likes up. Double tap your phone.
Remember, the defense has got to do their case as well. And at some point, the prosecution is going to put all this together and or cross against the defense testimony and the defense presentation that hopefully brings the jury back to themselves in terms of understanding a simplified version of what the prosecution is trying to do. But the asking of the question demonstrates one of the prosecution's biggest challenges.
I think this case comes down to closing arguments. Said it before, say it again. I think this whole case comes down to how they summarize this and make it easily digestible for the prosecution. Does it fit into the elements? Defense saying, I think the defense should take out a chart, take all the elements, and literally say why it doesn't meet any of the elements of racketeering. And there's so many, right? Criminal enterprise, common purpose, underlying predicate crime. Say, nope. Prosecution, yep. And then you have a weighing test for the jury.
Hi, Barbara.
Okay, we get a super chat question here for you, Tyler. This is from Blessing Eek. Thank you so much. Since the prosecution called KK a co-conspirator, if she doesn't testify or get charged and PD gets convicted of RICO, is that a ground for appeal? And one thing I'll say is prosecutors have referred to her in court as an agent and co-conspirator of Combs. So there you have it. So again, if she doesn't testify or get charged and P. Diddy does get convicted of RICO, is that a ground for him to appeal?
Well, if he's convicted, he's definitely going to appeal, but I'm not sure that will be the strongest grounds for him to appeal. There's been some evidentiary issues that I've seen the defense raise arguments and objections over that have been overruled by the court. But KK not being called as a witness, as a co-conspirator here, I don't think that's necessary grounds for appeal. Mind you, the government could still pursue charges against her. She could end up taking a plea with the government later on in this case. Or she could still testify and say that she has immunity. So there's still so many options they could use with KK. We don't know yet, but it is odd that we're so late in the trial we haven't heard from her.
Well, let me just ask you this question. It came out yesterday. I think it's unlikely, and I imagine if the prosecution knows this, they would have called her. Is it possible she could be a defense witness? And is that strange that she would be a defense witness, Tyler? Because A, I don't know how she would help him, and B, well, maybe she would say there was no kind of racketeering, there was no criminal enterprise, but also B, doesn't that look bad for the prosecution? The person you mentioned in almost every witness, the defense is calling her as a witness? Tyler, what do you think?
She could, in theory, testify for the defense as a witness. I'm pretty sure she has her own lawyers who would advise her do not do that. I mean, that's an easy way to end up as a defendant in one of these cases if she testified as a witness in Mr. Combs' support. We already have heard evidence that she has assisted in these freak-offs. That can be interpreted one way or the other. I think the legal jeopardy that she puts herself in would be very high if she testified in support of Mr. Combs. But, you know, their relationship could just be that tight. And she could say, you know, I rode with him all these years. I'm going to ride this last ride with him. If she has a lawyer, her lawyer would advise her not to do that.
Joe, I gave everybody 15, 20 minutes to write kind comments about you, and we have one. We have a kind comment that if you want to, I'll give you two. I'll give you the comment, the question that if you want to answer, and then I have also a more substantive question on the Sean Combs case. But from Fabiola Delgado Lebron, question for Joe. What's your technique for cleaning your glasses, clockwise or counterclockwise? So that people love your glasses. And also, the more substantive question is, this is from MC, curious who the defense will call as their witnesses. Who do you think will make it to the witness stand next week? So, Joe, I think the more important question is about your glasses, so they look fantastic. And then the more substantive question, of course, is who do you think the defense is going to call?
It's really funny. So my wife is a tree hugger, so she wants everything that we use to be natural. So she got us recently a brush that I can actually use, squeeze on here. It's got like a little suction thing, and it helps me to clean the glasses without using something that's a chemical or that is not environmentally friendly. So my wife is thrilled that that question has been asked. So I want to thank you. I'm going to be great today. I'm going to be on her good side. So as it pertains to who there, so what's the other question? Who they're going to call? I think that they're going to call some folks that I think are going to normalize P. Diddy's essence, how he is, the things that happen, you know, in terms of him carrying out. It's almost like a back way of character evidence. It's not going to be direct character evidence, but it's going to be people saying, hey, these guys were in these relationships. These relationships could be tumultuous. They could be up and down. They're going to really use the opportunity to show witnesses that say they were in a relationship. This person was very willing and very anxious to be in a relationship. She talked to me about it, how excited that she was, how she's really enjoyed these freak-offs, how, you know, the types of things that undermine the elements. You're talking a little bit earlier about the elements of the crime. They're really looking at what the witnesses, this witness is going to underlie this element, this element, this element. Because one of the things that you have to do is you have to create a different suggestion and reasonable doubt as it pertains to the racketeering about the underlying crimes. You you got to hit against those as it pertains to the security thing. Hey, the room didn't look the way that it normally does. The stuff is sectioned off, and because he needs to be protected, etc. They're going to try to provide context to a lot of these things that suggest something other than the criminal enterprise. Because if you can take the information, you can take the existence of guns, you can take the existence of guns, of drugs, etc., and make a suggestion that there is a crime going there. They're going to talk about the fact that he had a wild lifestyle, but everybody that was in it was full in it, 10 toes down, and that he was a person that maybe had some problems and some intricacies and some differences. But that being said, he also was a person that was very much, somebody that people wanted to be in a relationship with. He's not a criminal.
Few things there. First of all, we've been showing B-roll of Cuba Gooding Jr., Jay-Z. They're not a part of this criminal case. They have come up in other lawsuits, right? They have been accused in lawsuits of engaging in sexual abuse against people. Well, the one against Jay-Z was thrown out. Cuba Gooding Jr. was named as a defendant in the lawsuit brought by Rodney Lil Rod Jones. Just want to provide some context about why we're showing this. By the way, you gave a great response, Joe, but it seems people are responding to glasses comment. One says, L. Spelunker says, I need that for my glasses. Thank you, Joe. Blessing says, thank you so much, Jesse, Joe, and Tyler. This is the real trifecta. Shapeshifter says, them glasses fly, though. So we got, I love our viewers. They're the best. Okay, so we got some super chat questions that came in. I'll start with you, Tyler. This is from Sarah Sadam. Why did the prosecution call her as a co-conspirator, or why did they call her a co-conspirator instead of a co-defendant? Does that have any significance? Meaning Christina Cora.
Yeah, as of right now, she's not named on the pleadings as an indicted co-conspirator. I think factually the evidence that they have put in this case shows that she has conspired with Mr. Combs. We just heard text messages. There's probably more evidence that they have that shows that she has conspired with him and furthered his freak-offs and sexual space that he goes on. So that's the reason why she's not a co-defendant at this time.
Joe, we got a super chat question from Jay Davis. What's the benefit of trial by judge versus jury? Diddy have done a trial by judge, meaning, a bench trial?
No, he shouldn't have, because I think you have a better chance of hanging a jury. A judge, frankly, is going to know more than the average jury person, the average lay person is going to. And anyone that believes that they can convince people about their situation is going to want a jury. You have a trial by jury constitutionally, but it creates a different hurdle.
So you hope they think like you?
The people being the prosecutors, etc., moving on behalf of the people, have to convince 12 people, as opposed to having to
your
just
peers don't know the law.
Absolutely right and right on in terms of getting.
Okay, Lori B, we don't promote other people over here
about things that might beg against people's traditional notions of common sense.
I
Stop
want to ask this question to everybody,
promoting other
including
people.
myself. I'm going to ask this question.
Without
this is from
permission.
Sarah Senna. Hi, Jesse. Thank you for being such an amazing host. That's so kind. Thank you so much. How do you and your guests think Diddy's feeling at this point of the trial? Does he go through a briefing with his lawyers each day outside of court? Tyler, I'll start with you. I know there was an issue in terms of, him having access to lawyers and him being able to review certain materials. But putting that aside, how does it typically work?
Don't do that.
Would he have a meet with his attorneys every day at court to talk about how it's going, what to expect, and how do you think he's...
Dan Chevrolet is your Tracks and Trailblazer headquarters in Kansas City. Our lot is stocked with an impressive selection of new 2025 Chevys. Whether you need a...
In a case like this, you have lawyers, and generally we have a defense team. We probably
what's your name?
A liaison between
Hold on.
and the rest of the team, and so that person probably does go down to the detention center
Hold on.
to talk.
So listen, let me see. What's your name? Lori B. Please don't do that. Her name has not been brought up. I don't want anybody self-promoting other people over here. I've never brought her name up over here. So please don't do that. Please don't do that. I have not done any of her research, and there are other people that they haven't brought up, so I don't know. But you asked me about somebody I do not talk about. So please stop asking about that person. You see, I keep removing that comment. So please don't ask about that person. I do not know. And I'm not self-promoting her. I promote, who I've researched. I have not researched her. So please don't do that. Thank you.
To him after the trial, get any feedback to give to the rest of the team, and then maybe if there's special requests from the defendant, possibly talk to lead counsel and others that can be arranged, because they have a lot of witnesses they need to focus on, getting their theory together for the next day. So you don't want to spend too much time, because time is very
Cassie's husband knew that she was freaky.
How is Mr. Combs feeling right now?
He knew she was freaky. Gene Deal said he knew everything about her when he was hired to be her trainer. So that wasn't new news to him. Trash Channel, is that your mama? Is Wendy Williams your mama?
I think after
that's your mama,
Jane, I think he's probably feeling a little more upbeat and better, because I think the cross-examination really highlighted the defense's overall theme of this being complicated, this not being a criminal act, that they are, this is a relationship. You know, she got some benefits out of this, this is what they did. And I think they landed some punches on their cross and their redirect on cross.
Joe, you agree? I see you nodding.
Hi, BB.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he feels good, not only for the reasons that Tyler said, but he also is getting ready to be close to them making their own presentation, where you can be more affirmative about putting those things together, and showing the jury what the jury needs to see in order to confirm this notion that maybe this is a square peg in a round hole. Maybe he's not quite a criminal enterprise, etc. He's going to be able to come in and affirmatively hammer that through witnesses that they control, that they know what they're going to say, etc. So they must be feeling pretty good about that, I'm sure. In a long time,
hi, Vicky.
For sure. But I would think that this is an up moment, because it's not a situation where, based on the presentation thus far, there's just absolutely no route for him to be found not guilty on at least some of the charges.
Look, I'll put in the caveat, we don't know.
Say that again. Say that again, sir.
Okay, so we got some super chat questions that came in. I'll start with you, Tyler. This is from Sarah Sadam.
Lobster mashed potatoes.
As a co-conspirator, or why do they call her a co-conspirator instead of a co-defendant? Does that have any significance? Meaning Christina Cora.
Yeah, as of right now, she's not named on the pleadings as
oh, that sounds good, y'all. Lobster mashed potatoes.
Actually, the evidence that they have put in this case shows that she has conspired with Mr. Combs. We heard about the text messages. There's probably more evidence that they have that shows that she has conspired with him and furthered his freak-offs and sex escapades that he goes on. So that's the reason why she's not a co-defendant at this time.
Joe, we got a super chat question from Jay Davis. What's the benefit of trial by judge versus jury? Should Diddy have done a trial by judge, meaning, you know, a bench trial?
I wish he would have.
No, he shouldn't have, because I think you have a better chance of hanging a jury. A judge, frankly, is going to know more than the average jury person.
Because the judge will know the law.
And anyone that believes that they can convince people about their situation is going to want a jury. You have a trial by jury constitutionally, but it creates a different hurdle, an additional hurdle, if the people being the prosecutors, et cetera, moving on behalf of the people, have to convince 12 people, as opposed to having to just convince a judge. So he was absolutely right and right on in terms of getting a jury, because I think it makes it harder for him to be convicted, particularly about things that might beg against people's traditional notions of common sense.
I want to ask this question to everybody. including myself, I'm going to ask this question. This is from Sarah Senna. Hi, Jesse. Thank you for being such an amazing host. That's so kind. Thank you so much. How do you...
Okay, y'all, I'm finna get ready to go. Y'all not supporting my platform.
Briefing with his lawyers each day outside.
You talking SHIT?
I know there was an issue in terms of, you know, him having access to his lawyers and him...
Go ahead and leave.
Certain material.
If you know that you haven't...
But putting that to the side, I mean, how does it typically work?
Okay, my lunch is heading my way.
After court to talk about how it's going, what to expect, and how do you think he's feeling at this point?
She plug credit
winds down its case.
In a case like this, you have multiple defense lawyers, and generally we have a defense team. You'll probably assign one lawyer who's going to be the main liaison between the defendant and the rest of the team. And so that person probably does go down to the detention center to talk to him after the trial, get any feedback they need to give to the rest of the team. And then maybe if there's special request from the defendant to possibly talk to lead counsel and others, that can be because they have a lot of witnesses they need to focus on getting their things. So you don't want to spend too much time because time is very precious. And then answering the second part of that question, how is Mr. Combs feeling right now? I think after the testimony of Jane, I think he's probably feeling a little more upbeat and better because I think the cross-examination really highlighted the defense's overall theme of this being complicated, this not being a criminal act, that they are, this is a relationship. You know, she got some benefits out of this. This is what they did. And I think they landed some punches on their cross and their redirect on cross.
Joe, you agree? I see you nodding.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he feels good, not only for the reasons that Tyler said, but he also is getting ready to be close to them making their own presentation, where you can be more affirmative about putting those things together, and showing the jury what the jury needs to see in order to confirm this notion that maybe this is a square peg in a round hole. Maybe he's not a criminal enterprise, etc. He's going to be able to come in and affirmatively hammer that through witnesses that they control, that they know what they're going to say, etc. So they must be feeling pretty good about that, I'm sure.
So yeah, I'll be back later.
For sure. But this is an up moment because it's not a situation where, based on the presentation thus far, there's just absolutely no route for him to be found not guilty of at least some of the charges.
Look, I'll put in the caveat, we don't know. Like, we really don't know how he's... if I had to take a guess, I think he's expecting to be convicted of something. And what I mean by that is there has been a lot of evidence thrown in against him, and the jurors are human. So you take the one idea of they might not like him, particularly after the Cassie tape. I think he went in expecting it's going to be very hard for a jury to say you are acquitted of everything. What I think he might be expecting is being found guilty of the Mann Act violations, the prostitution violations. I'm talking about transportation to engage in prostitution. I think there's a more streamlined case for that. He might be feeling really good that he can get acquitted or a hung jury on the racketeering charge. There might have been evidence of underlying crimes like arson, forced labor, kidnapping, drug offenses, but the idea of a criminal agreement, the idea of a criminal enterprise, the prosecution might not have sold that yet. They still have a little bit more of their case. Sex trafficking with Jane, complicated gray area. I think it's...
What about sex trafficking with Cassie?
But they still might not be convinced that this is what sex trafficking is.
Well, they need to educate themselves.
Arguments to see how it's articulated. It's hard to know. It's hard to know. But I will ask this part. Okay. Okay. Got another super chat question as we kind of wrap things up. Tyler, this is another super chat question from Sarah Sadem. Sarah, thank you so much. If the government aren't calling KK, do they think they've met their burden of proof? Maybe they don't need her, right? Right? They feel good.
I don't think they need KK to prove their case. Perez is doing a good job showing that there's an enterprise that existed, that KK was involved in communications with others. You've had testimony come out about D-Rock. You also had testimony come out about bodyguards. Let's think about the arson of Kid Cudi's vehicle, the circumstantial evidence with the vehicle that was registered to Bad Boy. I mean, there's a lot already in there that helps out with the racketeering. I don't think KK helps out. I think that she is better fit probably for the government of being probably indicted
separately
at some point.
Just like
maybe she'll be one of the witnesses who could talk about all the transactions and things of that nature. That could be something. That would be a big surprise in the early part of the week.
Okay, y'all, my lunch is on its way.
I want to give 2 polls and then one more final question to Joe. So we put up a poll. Do you think the sketch artist listened to Diddy's note?
Yeah.
Stop making me look like a koala. 55% said no. 44% said yes. And then this poll I want to ask you about, Joe. Which type of evidence is likely to carry the greatest weight with the jury? 43% of our viewers say victim testimony, 31% say evidence, photos, and 24% say Diddy's voicemails to James. So the majority of the poll believe
and Paul asking Paul to help him persuade her to continue the sex off. Triple X off.
To the bad. So just because I agree that victim testimony is probably going to be the most compelling, I also think that because it's the most compelling, it also either wins you the case or it loses you the case. So when we're talking about the victims, they're testifying about things that went on, but they're also testifying about their love for Diddy. They're also testifying.
Okay, y'all, I'll be back later on.
They're reminding us all that perhaps they participated in this situation in a way that the juror members themselves would not, without connecting a voluntary motive to it. And so therefore, the same thing that make you laugh will make you cry. So they could lose because of that victim testimony or win because of that victim testimony. But I do agree that it's the most important.
Joe Richardson, Tyler Bailey, I appreciate you both. Expert analysis, excellent insight.
Y'all have a good one. Have a good lunch. I'll be back later.
Thank you so much, guys. And both of you guys have a great week.
Please hit the like button. If you didn't hit it coming in, please hit it going out. I would greatly appreciate it.
First of all, everybody, I just want to say thank you so much for the amazing, amazing questions, not only today, but this week. And if you are interested in more about this case,
y'all have a good one.